We got a few people here. I think
I
there
see that.
was another person that was Sam, and there was Sam, Agent J, and a few others, but maybe they'll come in a little late. Let's see here. I'm recording this now, so I will be posting this on YouTube later.
Right. We'll be editing it out, all this part out anyway, but
Yeah, so
that's just, make sure it's working.
I guess I shouldn't be on a recording with trying to chat with people, so I'll just go get out of that screen. All right, so yeah, welcome in, guys. I know it's 5:30 Sunday. It's your weekend. Thanks for taking a bit of your time to come out and spend your time with us for a few minutes, or it'll be about an hour or so, just to kind of learn about the stocks and the stock market, how to make your plays, all that kind of stuff. I've got Gilfy here, a good friend of mine. He's from Alberta. He's got a good knowledge, extensive knowledge about stocks and tradings, and all that kind of stuff. So very good person to ask any questions that you might have if you're new to trading stocks, which I know a few of you are from here. Um, and yeah, you can kind of I'll hand it off to you, Gilf.
Thank you. Thank you, Sir Circuit Gamer, here to have for me today. It's been, quite the honor, actually. This is going to be fun. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. We are going through a lot of things today, and I would suggest if you have anything nearby, like a pen, pencil, or Word, since you're on PCs. I don't know if you're on a phone, but grab some notes, grab some screenshots. We're diving into this today. So again, I want to preface this entire thing that we are not legal advisors. I do not have any associations with any hedge funds or any lawyers whatsoever. This is purely for educational purposes. This is something that we decided to do to help people, and this information can be hard to find without paying for resources and other things you know, to take your time out of the day. Why not just do it for free? Because your time is everything right now. So I think we should just get right into this.
And again, if you guys
So
have any questions, just feel free to chat in the VC's chat there. You nailed how I feel about stock skill fee, is what Lauren says, by the way.
yes. Uh, if everybody is watching the stream currently, I have a WordPad open that has all of my notes, and I will be going through these. So you'll be having something to write down as well as whatever else we want to write down. But yes, watch the stream, and we will get right into this. Just let everybody give everybody a minute. Uh, All right. Well, steps for signing a stock to play. So the whole thing right now is like, hey, well, how do I even find a stock? Like, what are stocks? What is going on here? It's like, well, the basic premises here is like you're scanning and planning. You're scanning the market and you're planning your angle of attack. So every day before market open, I scan to find percent gainers on high and abnormal volume. So you're looking for stocks that are like catching your eye. They're moving. They've got volume. They got people trading their stock. Money's being made there. So most active stocks are stocks that have the most attention, right?
And touching
Now
on
we have
that, if I can,
yes.
going back to the scan and plan, we do actually have a new bot that we've added to the server. I'm gonna just quickly share my screen here about scan and plan, just so we can touch on that. Within the server here, you're gonna notice that we have Trend Vision stocks. Okay, just in this channel, right underneath community. With trending, do you see my screen here, guys? Just so you guys,
I do.
I don't mean to make you guys go between streams, but just if you come to my stream there, you're gonna see Trend Vision stocks, or even you might even know it already. There's top gainers in there, okay? And so the first, what I would kind of want to see from you guys is like just use this top gainers channel to your advantage, because it's gonna show you the top trending stocks for that day. And then what Gilfy's just about to tell you is to scan and plan. So that's going to be scanning the market and planning what you're going to do for that day within that market. So uh, just like he's saying here in his slide, every day before market open, I scan to find percentage gainers on high or abnormal volume, the most active stocks or stocks that have the most attention. Okay, so you would come to the top gainers channel here, pick the first pick the first 1 to 4, and then ask yourself, why are these stocks moving? what is it about these stocks that are making them go up 300%, 200%, whatever the percentage might be. These are high moving stocks. And then so you'd want to maybe look into the news from there, and you can go into News Scanner in the news channel. There is this news channel here in the news scanner, but more likely you're going to want to just open a couple of tabs on your Chrome browser, whatever browser you use, and you're just basically gonna search for the INHD, for example, and then you're gonna go INHD and say, okay, what's the news for INHD? Why is it moving this way? And then if you see that it's moving if you see some good news, that gives you an indicator it's not just a pump and dump kind of thing. Also, there's going to be a voice scanner here in the channel. So you can see here, you can click on voice scanner. This is a new feature. It did cost quite a lot of money for us to get in there. So I really do hope that we see a few people, but we'll probably see a lot of people in here during the day. It's voice scanner, and it's going to give you guys information, up-to-date information as to what's going on in the market, like what's moving, that kind of stuff. So that's going to be a very helpful tool for you guys to start trading with. I'll hand it back to you though.
Awesome, bro. Yep. Yep. Basically, you're just looking for the best stocks. Sector focus. Beware of the current trend and hot markets. Try to figure out what is in sympathy with the main hitting stocks. A lot of the time, other stocks will rise in relationship with the current active stock. So it's not just one stock. There's usually a couple of stocks doing the same thing. Say, like, I don't know, the time when everybody was buying weed or everybody was buying AI electronics here just in the last couple of years. But we had a boom in technology recently, and now recently it's also been in biology, and now it's gone back to technology again because with the Elon Musk and Trump thing and everything like that. So Intellis has been fucking ridiculous. Excuse my language. I'm sorry, I may swear here.
It's
You
okay.
might have to
We're all
censor
adults
some of this
here.
out, but
Oh yeah, right. YouTube's whatever.
yeah, YouTube.
Yeah.
Hi, YouTube. Anyway, sector focus. You're looking for what your sector is. This is done by looking at the industry or sector the stock is in. The term industry refers to a series of companies that operate in a similar business sphere, and its categorization is more narrow. And that's like, i.e., technology, biomedical, financial, automotive, etc. Sector refers to a part of the economy which, in a great number of companies, can be categorized and is larger in comparison. The four different sectors in an economy: the primary sector, this deals with the extraction and harvesting of natural resources such as agriculture and mining. I'll give you guys a moment just to catch up there, just to write everything down. If you need me to scroll back, I will. Just let me
Oh yeah,
know.
I'll keep an eye on VC chat too. I gotta keep an eye on that too.
Yep, I have it on here, so if anybody messages, I'll see it.
I
Um,
am back. Sorry.
Welcome back. No worries. We're just going over the Discord just to keep getting updated. The trading tips. Oh yeah, that's right. Can I go back to that as well? Um, I wish
If
I
you'd
could.
like to, real quick.
I wish I had. I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you.
Yeah, remember we can edit this
Yeah.
later. Anyway, uh, yeah, creative. Just a real quick refresher because you just came back. It's all
Sorry to
about.
sorry to cut you guys off too. What I can My name's Ty. I know Keegan here. So, but anyways, for this, after we're done recording it, if you want, just give it to me. I edit videos, so I wouldn't mind doing that. And then if you want to give me like an intro or something like that, like none of this extra stuff really matters. Like we can just clip it and cut it out.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Perfect.
Is there anything that you guys, before we get into this, is there anything that you guys want to focus on, or that you guys are feeling a little bit cautious about, or anything that you guys want to focus on for this video? Is because we can talk about a lot of things that we have in mind, but if
Yeah,
there's
it
anything that
gives.
you guys are struggling with, or that you guys have any questions for, this is an open Q&A as well. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to chime into the events chat. This is the first time that we are doing a stock seminar on the stream or on the server. But if you want to just give us some input or any questions, you're welcome to ask there. So we can kind of navigate that too. So we don't want to bore you guys, right? With all this
Exactly.
information. We will be playing a video later in about 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes, just giving Gilfie an introduction on the stocks. and we'll go through the video. And if you have any questions on the video, we'll go through that too.
This is probably just the most important part. I just want everybody up to date and be like, oh, I know what these terms mean now. Like,
Right.
basic stuff that actually everybody should know about this, because it can be complicated, but if you just learn the basics, it's just like anything else. It's like driving a car, riding a bike. Like, you learn the basics and you get familiar. All right. The biggest stretch to this is honestly once you get into actually trading, you're like looking at all the bars and shit, and you're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Excuse my language, but like, you see all these buttons and it's like, what do you do? It's like, well, you need to know what you're doing first. Like, why are you doing this? And I hope if anybody finds this boring, please let me know. But like, I hope you're going to learn something today. That's the idea. You would normally have to pay for something like this. And I've done this for the last 4 or 5 years. I have some information on this. I've actually attended proper seminars for this, paid money. I am going to earn my money back because I'm focusing on the rules. But I want you guys to have the tools in your pocket. You can take everything I say with a grain of salt. That's okay. I don't. That's honestly probably the best way to do it. And looking at anything is, it's never an all in. It's never I bet on this. It's you're not going to treat everything as truth. So obviously, just take everything with a grain of salt. But I'm going to try to show you everything that I've used and learned, and it's helped me.
Yeah,
That's all I
absolutely.
can say.
Because
That's all I can
everybody's
say.
trading style is going
Everybody,
to be different.
exactly.
And
Everybody's different.
it's going to be based on kind of like your kind of personality. Like you might have like an anxious personality, and then with that anxious personality, you might be more kind of like worried with your investment. You might kind of say, okay, you might trade with emotion more, or you might have a more confident personality, and you might say, okay, I'm going all in on this stock, whatever it
Yeah.
is. Everyone's
I
going to
don't
have a
mean to interrupt
different
you.
trading
We're gonna
style.
get there. I'm
Yeah.
not meaning to interrupt you, but we're gonna get there. And
Yeah,
the
yeah,
biggest takeaway here is just, everything here is just presented to you as I would have learned it. So just, take your time.
for sure.
And all right. So we're just coming back to sectors here, and creative was late, but that's fine. I think he's all right with that. We're looking for percent gainers on high abnormal volume. Circuit Gamer took us through his channels that had some information. It shows the top gainers and then the voice channel and stuff like that. We will go through that again a little later here, but right now we're just focusing on the sector, so we'll continue this. The sector focus is what your stock is in. Is it technology, biomedical, financial, automotive, right? What industry? The sector refers to a part of the economy in which a great number of companies can be categorized and is larger in comparison. And there are four. Your primary, this sector deals with the extraction and harvesting of natural resources such as agriculture and mining, right? That's where we left off. Secondary sector. This sector comprises construction, manufacturing, and processing. Basically, this sector comprises industry that relate to production of finished goods from raw materials. So anything steel, diamond, you name it. If they're making it out of it, or refinery stuff like that, they're doing it. That's what they're building structures, building foundations. We have the tertiary sector, your third sector, retailers, entertainment, and financial companies. So that would be like, Nike and Amazon and everything else like that. That's in your financial companies, banks. That's all like those companies. And then your quaternary. The founder sector deals with knowledge or intellectual pursuits, including research and development, business, consulting services, and education. So that's like your schools, your museums, your libraries, any military products. Consulting services is in line with the bank, but it's a separate branch. So it'd be your lawyers, your part-time lawyers, and stuff like that. The stuff on the side, like call this guy if you've been hurt in a hurt in the car, or blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? Those kinds of companies.
So
So
yeah. So first
this is
step is news and scan and plan, right? Just to kind of
the first step is the
summarize.
scan and plan, and then you're figuring out what your stock is in. What sector is it in? Is it the managing sector? Is it processing sector? Is it technology? Is it business? Is it bio? Like, what is it? Is it doctors are using it? Okay, that's pretty cool. Is scientists using it? Okay. Is technology using it? Like AI was a really big thing for a while. Like, we had a robot tech thing over in China for a while, but because we were stopping trade between them for a little bit here, we had a bit of an issue with that. People have been jumping out of China sectors for a while, so I really would avoid that for the moment. Pro tip. uh, Semiconductors. That was the big one recently because the graphics card industry, Nvidia. I don't know if everybody watched Nvidia go crazy for a while there. But yeah, you just got to understand where we're at, and you can take the big companies and find the little buy-in companies that are like for $1 and they're trying to sell semiconductors on the side and stuff and doing their own thing, and they end up getting like $1 million. They make them as many as they can, but then realize that they don't have the shipping to be actually contain it because all the big other companies have already rented all the barges. They're already on, they're on grid. They have a queue. They're set to each company for whatever they do. And then if you're looking for trading through that aspect, anything that's traded goods, embargoes or something you want to look for, it's stuff like that. You're just looking for where your sector is in. What are you looking for? Right? If they're diamonds, are they being processed, or are they like the manufactured diamonds? Like, are they actually being dug out from ore, or are they, it doesn't matter what you're in, coins or actual currency, because your stock market crosses a broad spectrum. So let's get into this a little bit further. The reason you're getting into the stock. All right. So you found your stock, you've seen stocks that have been moving, but what do you do with them? Once a stock has caught your attention, first lock in its price and debate your budget. Not all stocks are worth getting into based on price and an amount of shares you can allocate to said trade. So you never want to be above average in a trade. If there's only 1 million stocks, you never want to be stronger than 10% of the actual share of stocks because you don't want to move it, right? You're not there to move it. You're there to follow the wave and the trend and the news, which we're getting into here.
Buy the news, sell the rumor.
Yeah. That being said, if the stock does put you for budget entry, your next line of action should be as follows. Look for any news that is related to the current market. Sometimes old news is still relevant if not pushed to the side in the wake of following news, if not forgotten. Use good judgment and decision making. So this is where we're trying to figure out what the stock is moving on. Is it a rumor? Was it a tweet from somebody? Was it a budget cut? Was it a momentum? Did they receive earnings? Along with the news, look at social media and get a feel for the buzz or vibe around the stock, if there is any. Last but not least, SEC filings, SEC filings. Yes, it has to be done. Look at their records and see what they've been forced to give to the government. Every company that is on the stock market has to file their forms. This is how you weed out the lies from the press releases and fluff to get down to the real dirty facts on a company, right? We're not in this to bet on the company. We're in this to make money, right? As soon as you start siding with a company, be like, oh, I'm going to like get into this company and they're going to go huge one day. It's like, that's not what we're here for. That time is coming past. Unless something like interesting comes up when it comes to technology or rockets or anything else like that with space related, we're not going to see any stocks being kind of like that for many, many years now. What we're looking for now is between the penny stocks and the ego stocks, which are your stocks from anywhere between 5 million to 10 million, and your ego stocks, which are anywhere between 1 billion to 10 billion. You never want to go anywhere above that because then you're starting to play with big boys who can just move that stock in an instant. I would avoid anything lower than 1 million, and I would avoid anything higher than 300 million.
Can you explain that a little bit more, those numbers, like just so that maybe they can? If I don't know if they have an understanding of what you mean, but
So all stock markets operate on stocks. They're shares. How many shares are allocated to a company? So when a stock is worth 50 billion, they usually take, say, a $50 billion company, they usually take 500 million shares of that. So each stock is worth like $2 or $3. So they
right,
divide the worth of the company to the amount of shares that you have.
makes sense. Thanks for
So
clarifying.
so once you divide the company between how many shares, like 500 million, that becomes, and each share is worth 500, or each share is worth $1, or say a $500 million company, each share is worth $1. That's a 500 million shares,
Mm-hmm.
right? But usually companies will be like a $20 million company and they'll have 10 million worth of shares.
Okay.
Or 15 million. So they'll never be 1-to-1. So it's just that way there's company financing always in line, but then part of the company is always traded in stocks for like, ownership for the stockholders, right? So the person in majority is usually the founder and they have majority shares. So they usually have 51% at minimum,
Mm-hmm.
right? So in a $50 million stock, what's 50% of that? Well, that's roughly 26 million. right? So only the other 20 million, 24 million there is available to be traded with. So you don't want to be within 10% of that 24 million mark.
Absolutely, yeah. But I don't think any of us really will be, to be honest, at this point.
But it just goes to show
But
in any stock. So never be within 10% of the entire stock. So even if it's like $1 million stock or a $10 million stock or a $500 million stock, you
yeah,
never want to be more than 10%. That's
let's.
all I'm trying to say.
I do
That's the
imagine
best
myself
judgment.
as being the whale, though.
Yeah. You don't need to
Sometimes.
be a whale. If you're doing this right, you don't actually need to be the whale,
Yeah, I know.
right?
I'm just joking.
The trick
Um,
to do it fast is getting in multiple stocks at the same time as they're moving. But that's trickier. I'd say focus on one stock at a time,
yes,
get in, get out. You take your
100%.
gains, cut your losses. That's the
Yes.
biggest takeaway.
Too much to focus on. You don't want to get too overcomplicated and stuff like that. So,
So why is the stock moving? Well, the main point you're looking for is the catalyst, a reason for the stock to behave as it is. This will be crucial in guidance with step 3. Your step 3 is your technical analysis. I hope everybody's all right and caught up. I don't see any messages, so I'm just making sure everybody's good.
so we've done scan and plan, news, SEC filings, and now we're getting into technicals.
Right.
Just to summarize it for everyone.
So the meat, what you're actually looking for, right?
And then there are 11 trading rules that we want to talk about, or there's some trading rules that we'll get into after
Yes.
that. But yeah,
Yes.
just so
There's a
you
few
guys
things
don't
here.
make any mistakes.
So it's charting time. So this is when you start looking at your charts. We need to look at the charts to see if there's a pattern. Charts can tell you a lot about the flow of the stock, whether it's been down, whether it's been up, support, resistance. We're going to get into all that. The biggest thing to look for is if the stock in question has history. Has it gone up in the past before? Has it been able to hold its highs? Is it a yearly stock or is it progressive? So are you getting into a stock that was only born like a year ago, or are you getting into a stock that's been around for like 20 years or 30 years? Even though it's been like, because even for a life of a stock, like 20, 30 years is still pretty short. We have companies like Google who have been around like 50 years and stuff like that. So anything longer than like 40, 50 years, they're in for the long term. Some of them are ready to crash, just depending on the market. So you can follow them. So if one market is getting such a bigger share of funds than another market, say Nvidia versus AMD, if Nvidia did anything groundbreaking, AMD would just drop and Nvidia would rise, vice versa. So not saying that there's a bias there. I'm just saying vice versa, and it's an easy thing to, idealize. AMD, Nvidia, Intel, they're all kind of in line with each other. Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, they're all against each other. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like one of those things. You have other companies that are producing something similar or something better or something worse, or they're just enough to get by, right? So unless they do anything really innovative, they're probably the ones that you're just you're not gonna worry about them. But the new and upcoming stuff, everybody's like getting hyped up. Oh, this could be the next thing. Oh, this could be the next thing. That's a good catalyst, right? And that's something that you want to look at social media, because everything nowadays is on social media, right? Tweeting, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, TikTok. You always see somebody advertising somebody. So keep an eye out. Keep an eye. And if you start seeing multiple of these, might point you in a good direction. So technical analysis is basically that. Between the charts and the news, a catalyst should appear to you, right? You hear all this news, you're looking at a chart, oh, it's going up. And if it doesn't, there's a good chance you missed it, or you're waiting for a pullback. And your pullback is the thing that happens once, twice, and then that's it. Don't expect it to happen a third time, because that's usually where people lose their money. Third time does happen. I'm not saying it doesn't, but pullbacks are you're in, right? You're waiting for the people to hit their stop losses, and I'll get more into that later. But the hedge funds and these companies and stuff like that, the ones that they're doing their banking with, they can see all the stop losses. They have to be able to see them. So your trade is always being monitored, because they're always looking for the bidders and stuff like that. And that's what level 2 is so important. I know it's expensive, but like if you do get the chance to see level 2, there's ways to look at level 2 without having to pay for it. But it's the technical analysis, actually looking at the news. Level 2 is a great tool to use, but it's also useless if you don't know why you're using it, right? So it's one of those tools that can be mishandled if you're not using it right. But level 2 is huge. It shows you who's in queue for the bids. It shows you how much they're bidding, how many shares they're taking, and it shows you their upgrades, and it shows you how much they've made. It can show you how much they're waiting to lose for stop losses. It can show you a lot, just depending on the features. Certain banks have more features than others. Certain programs have more features than others. I'm not advertising this, but Stocks to Trade is where I started. They have a lot of great stuff there. So that's all I'm going to say about them. They're a little expensive, though. I'm not going to lie. But they're good. So that's Stocks to Trade again. And that's the last time I'm going to say that. Never chase a stock. Never. That's
There's
like
always other opportunities, guys. Like
exactly.
If you can find that, and I'll touch on that right now. If you don't mind, I'm going to quickly go back to my screen here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't mean to make you guys switch screens. I don't know if you guys can probably push the eyeball. You probably don't have to switch screens. You might just have to push the eyeball, and then you can have multiple streams going. But just want to let you guys know that you guys should follow this trading tips here within the trading tips channel, just under Trend Vision Stocks. If you're new to trading, I've put in some pretty good information. And one of them is developing a trading plan. So setting clear goals, defining your trading objectives, such as specific profit targets. I know we can get greedy sometimes. If you look at if you look at my events chat here, I put in this one here. This was my 1 day on. This is US dollar profit, 32% for 1 day. So that was, you know what, at that point, 32%. Do you keep going or do you just let it go? I mean, you obviously want to just take that right away. Like, you don't want to hold on to that you don't want to let it just sit there, because that's going to be a bit of a problem. But you do want to develop a trading plan. So you want to say, okay, I'm going to set myself to have 10% or 20%. For me, it wasn't 30%. It just ended up being that way. But for me, it was actually 15%. And then the stock market, when it opened, it landed at 30% on open. That's when I cashed out, though. Right away, I took that money. And that's one of the biggest things, is having a clear goal in mind as to what you want for your objective and your profit target. And then creating a routine. So establishing a daily routine for analyzing the market. So that's just like what we were just talking about with scanning and planning. And again, you're going to go into these are the channels you're going to see here. You're going to want to start with your daily routine of coming to top gainers, picking the first three in this 3 to 4 in this area here, asking yourself, why are they moving? What is it? Look at the news and find out what's going on. So you want to analyze the market, plan trades, and evaluate the performance. And always, you know what, you can start small. If you guys are just starting out trading, I know a few of you guys in here. I mean, there's not a lot of us in here, but anyways, the few people that are in here, I'm pretty sure they're just starting out. So practice with paper trading. What's paper trading? That's using simulation platforms.
I'll be right back.
Like on Webull there. No worries. On Webull, you can use paper trading, or on a lot of other stock brokers, you can use paper trading. And that's just using simulation money to practice trading without risking your real money. So that's a really important thing, is to practice with paper trading. And that's a good way to start learning what you're doing. So I wouldn't advise just hopping into the trades and then trading with your own money and then expecting to make a good return right away. Using paper trades is probably the biggest advice I can give you, to start small. And then when you do start trading, trade with small amounts. Begin with a small portion of your capital to manage your risk and gain experience. And then focus on your risk management. This is all going to be in trading tips, by the way. So set stop loss orders, implement stop loss orders to limit potential losses on each trade. I mean, there's a bit of a debate here whether or not you put in a percentage amount for your stop loss, or if you put in a dollar amount. In my opinion, I tend to put the dollar amount, not the percentage. And what are stop losses? Stop losses are just basically an automatic sell at a certain level, so you can mitigate your risks, your losses, and that stuff. And it's okay to lose in the stock market, guys. If you guys do lose a couple bucks, we don't want you, like, I'm not saying lose your whole bag or anything like that, or your whole investment. But typically, your risk management should be only a small percentage of your capital on each trade. So typically 1 to 2% is going to be your total risk on your capital. So does that make sense to you guys? The stop loss. You can type in events VC or this VC. Hopefully I'm not going too fast. Another thing too is using the technical analysis. So you got to learn charts, patterns, and understand that kind of stuff. You can. There's a lot of YouTube videos on that. I won't get too much
I'm back.
too into that. No worries. Welcome back.
Thank you.
So we're just talking about the technical analysis. If you guys want more information on how to do more technical analysis, you can go on YouTube. There's tons of videos out there that you can find.
Oh, I've got plenty more I can go on technical analysis with. I just don't want to bore everybody.
No, no, we'll save that for another one. We'll save that for another one.
Right.
But we're gonna get into a video to kind of just in the next. Well, we're supposed to start the video 2 minutes ago. We're kind of behind schedule, but that's okay. And then we'll go over that technical analysis and how to play strong momentum stocks. We'll get into that in a minute. And then the fifth point of the trading tips is to avoid emotional trading. So remember from the very first the very first step in trading is developing a trading plan. So you want to avoid emotional trading, and that's sticking to your plan. So adhere to your trading plan and avoid making impulsive decisions based on your emotions. So if you feel like, okay, like, you know what, like I'm in a lot of danger here, like, well, just stick to your plan.
Yeah.
You just got to stick to that. If you set that plan and you said, this is what I'm going to do, stick to it. Don't go to any emotions and say, and get fear and all that kind of stuff, because there's that fear and greed, and there's the fear and greed. Those are the biggest things, right? And then you might want to even keep a trading journal. So record your trades, strategies, and your outcomes to
I did
learn
that.
from both successes and mistakes. Yeah.
It's actually really huge.
Right. So you do want to kind of keep a log. What did I do wrong there? What could I have done differently? What was it about this particular trade that others were successful in? I don't know. There's all sorts of different things you can journal. So keeping a journal is always important. And the sixth point is to be patient and disciplined. So wait for opportunities. Only trade when there's clear setups that meet your criteria. So there's lots of opportunities out there, and you should only trade when there's a clear setup that meets your criteria that you have in your trading plan. And you got to accept the losses, okay? Sometimes you're going to get some losses, but just recognize that the losses are part of trading. You can learn from them and you can maintain confidence, right? And then there's patience. Exercise patience, especially in trading. Unless your stop loss is triggered or the variable is influencing your trade change, remain patient and continue scalping your setup, right? So know when to exit is my seventh point in this channel. So having a good trade exit strategy, define your exit points for both profits and losses in advance. So before you actually have even made the trade or anything like that, you should have already known your exit point and you should already know your profit point, right? And then you should stick to that plan. So you should already know when you're going to exit, and don't yeah, we'll get into the other point I was just about to say. But yeah, review and adjust. Regularly assess your trades and strategies to adapt based on performance and market conditions. Avoid over trading. So you got to be selective. Trade only when clear opportunities align with your strategy. And then you got to take breaks. Avoid constant trading to burn out and maintain clarity, right? So take a little bit of a break if you have to. I mean, it's definitely important that you do. Otherwise, you might end up you might get a little bit overconfident or something like that. It might bite you in the ass. My most favorite point though for all of this, guys, is only celebrate after selling. This is something I got caught up with. I will admit is, you know, you get excited when you look at your account and you see 30% bonus or whatever you want to call it on your stocks. You get excited and then, you know, you're celebrating before you've even sold. I mean, really, honestly, you're celebrating unrealized gains. So you want to make sure that you focus on the execution. So you prioritize executing your trades according to your plan rather than celebrating unrealized gains. Okay. That's the most important. That's one of my favorite points that I put in there. And then celebrate your achievements. So only celebrate after closing a trade and securing your profit to maintain discipline and avoid overconfidence. You do want to avoid overconfidence.
100%.
Right. And then after each trade, reset. Okay. I want to see you guys reset. Manage your emotions. Reset your mindset after each trade, regardless of the outcome. Emotions from a win or a loss can negatively impact future trades, right? So you want to do a reset after each trade and stay objective. Approach each trade with a clear and objective mindset, free from the emotional highs or lows of previous trades. And I didn't put this in there, but Gilvy was saying I should say avoid FOMO, as well as YOLO. I mean, definitely avoid YOLO. Sometimes what do you think, Gilvy? There are situations where you can FOMO, not necessarily avoid FOMO. I mean, you should avoid FOMO,
Sometimes the
but
best trade is no trade at all.
sometimes the best trade is no trade at all. Okay, okay, okay. Sometimes I do see myself like, okay, this one's actually got a good movement. I mean, you might find in the voice scanner that there are like calls being made for a massive mover in the stock market, and you might jump in there and you might feel like you got a FOMO. Okay, in that sense, don't just jump in because the bot told you.
No.
You know, that's one thing. Like definitely because you hear the bot say that there's massive momentum on this stock. I mean, you got to analyze it first. You might feel like you're a little late to the party, but it's okay. Just make sure you're not diving into something without actually making an informed decision. So yeah. Anyways, avoid YOLO, and there's always another opportunity. Okay, guys. So I just want to make sure you guys go over those trading tips from there,
Yep.
and it looks like Gilfy has a couple of points.
Yes. If you come to my screen, I have my rules. These are the rules I follow in every trade. 11 rules.
Just read them
This
out.
is
Just read them out.
11 trading rules to follow. So alpha rule, follow rules, not people. End of story. Follow rules. And alpha B or beta, learn your lesson. Right? Number 1, do not chase stocks, alerts, gurus, or hype. You're doing this because you have an educated guess and not because everybody else is doing it. Right? If everybody's jumping off the bridge, man, don't jump off with them. And I'm having an echo from somebody.
Everybody else is muted.
Interesting.
Oh,
All right.
Maybe it's from my screen.
It might be from your stream, yeah.
Go
Close your
ahead.
stream for a sec.
Go ahead. Yeah. Is that better?
If I stop watching. Ah, there we go.
Okay.
Number 2. Always take profits when you have profits. Take half the profit off the table. You can add shares on the pullback. Right? So always take your profits. So that way, even if it does go back down, you can break even on your own terms rather than having it just to go back to zero and you get nothing for it. So always take your profits when you have profits. Number 3, do not boredom trade. No FOMO. Trade only the best setups. You want to make it work for you. Again, don't chase things. Cut your losses quickly. This
Absolutely.
is my biggest thing.
I like that.
Cut your
Yeah.
losses quickly.
Yeah. If it's not
Cut your
working,
losses
get rid
quickly.
of it. Get rid of it. You don't need it.
Cut your losses. That's the only way you're making money. You've got to cut your losses. Use mental stop losses and commit to it. And this is all about that planning. Don't use actual stops in the market. They will target them. Use a mental stop loss and be over that button and be like, sell. Get your shares ready. Get ready. If it hits that point, you sell.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. No oversized positions.
Yeah, we talked about that just with like how it can move the market and stuff.
Yeah, no oversized positions. Don't go. Be responsible for your own trades. No whining or blaming. Take responsibility. That's number 6. Number 7, don't automatically dismiss criticism. Not every stock is equal. Do your research. Don't set money targets based on positions. Number 8. See number 2. Don't set money targets based on positions. Number 2. Always take profits when you have profits. So just because your stock is up 30%, the only way it's going to go up further is if there's a boost or other kind of news. But that usually happens over a week rather than just the hour or the day that you're doing it on, right? These stocks are not something that you're getting into for the long term. You're getting into these for the short term. You're riding the wave. right? Because it could go up maybe a couple percent, and then maybe a couple days down the road, it does a jump up for 300%, and then it drops again for 200% as it levels out. So you want to be there and ready for that bump. And you can learn the catalyst. You can learn why it's doing this. And be like, hey, this stock is not getting enough attention. I guarantee you by next week it will, kind of thing. Like, keep an eye on it. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. That's fine. If you did get a position, then you just get out immediately. If it doesn't do what you thought you were going to do, and you're only down like $20 right now, it's like, well, it could go worse. It could just drop down to 400, and then now you're broke, right? You're bankrupt.
Yeah, make sure
Right.
you guys have your stop losses.
Or drop to
That's
zero.
a
I'm
very
sorry.
important
Goes from
thing.
4 to
Like,
0. Well, 4 to 0.01, right? Now it's only worth a penny a share. Like,
yeah, I recommend just having a good stop loss target. Have a plan in mind and stick to that plan, and definitely cut your losses if you see it heading below a certain point. Gilfy,
get out.
I don't mean to speed you up. Can we go to the 8th and 9th and 10th
Yep.
and 11th?
The more liquid a stock is, the smaller the position. Watch the trading volume. And that means how many people are actually pairing it, how many trades have been made that day, has the entire stock rotated? Because stocks that rotate 5, 10, 16 times, 20 times, like, you know what I mean, they usually go up. Learn to control your emotions. See number 4. Cut your losses quickly. Use a mental stop loss and commit to it. Yeah. Learn to control your emotions. Number 11, do not hold a position through an event. An event is an earnings report, a lawsuit judgment, an FDA decision, etc. Do not hold it because they can tank or just completely erase the stock, and then now you're left with nothing. You can't do anything.
That's going to be in the video. Whoops. Oh
Right.
well. All right, so I'm gonna switch it over to here. So thank you, Gilfy, for that. We're
Have
gonna
a couple more things if we want to go through it, but
yeah. We'll probably. Well, what do you want to say? What do you want to say? What is it? What is it?
we have trading advice and market depth, and the dynamic trade management.
Oh, maybe we'll save it for the next one because we're running low on time here. So we're gonna just skip to the. We're gonna quickly get into the video here,
All right.
and I just
Well,
want
I
to give
hope
you.
everybody's been enjoying their time so far and at least learned something.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, does this all make sense
Yeah,
to you
please.
guys?
This is probably the best time to ask questions
Yeah,
right now.
this is the best time. Yeah, you guys have any questions at all? Anything that's not making sense? Anything that you feel like you need to know or more of or whatever? Definitely the best time. I'm gonna get into a quick video about how to play momentum stocks, how to play breakouts and retests. So how to play strong momentum stocks. We're gonna play that. It is a paid video. You can.
I think this was
It
Wednesday.
is on YouTube, but you cannot access it unless you pay for the membership. I do recommend them though. Hot Trades, if you guys need a YouTube video or live streamer, is Hot Trades. I do recommend them. I'm not sponsored by them in any way, but I have watched this guy for many years, so I do recommend watching him. But his videos are paid for, so you cannot access these on YouTube unless you pay for them. So I'm sharing this with you. We're going to get into it just very quickly. So let's open up the video, and then hopefully
Yeah,
you guys
that was
can learn some
amazing.
stuff here.
Anyways, before we get into all the entries and exits, guys, I think what I want to do first is,
If you guys have any questions
if you've taken
between the video, please, I want to see some questions. Let me know.
a position lately that you're unsure of, I guess we can, if you have any questions, like if you took any positions,
Yeah, I don't think we're that good at
and you
explaining
just don't
everything.
feel like they were amazing positions and you have any
I
questions
tried.
about them, just
Yeah, I know
you can let me know,
exactly.
or
I
you
got a
can
lot
type
more I can
them
go
in the
through,
chat.
honestly.
Alrighty.
So
No,
So
you
as
guys
I
are
go
good,
through
man.
some
I
of these
like.
trades,
Oh,
if you have any questions at all,
You're welcome.
it's all good.
you can
I
always
got no
ask.
questions as of yet.
And
So
No worries,
awesome.
no worries.
Good.
then I'm
In
also
depth.
going to
Cheers.
share my screen.
Just like Blaze was saying, though, are there any positions that you guys have taken that you guys were unsure of, though, or I don't know. Maybe I'll just leave it to the video.
Yeah, so
I'll
you
be
should
right back.
Okay.
be able to see my screen now, and just so click watch stream beside my name, and you should be able to see what I'm looking at. Cool. Yeah, no, the recording is definitely going to be for same group of people that have access to the membership.
Mic off.
There we go.
A quick question. Which chat should we be looking at? Legend Pro Voice or Stock General?
Mic
Either
on.
or, I think
All right, I'm
most
gonna
people
have
are
to skip
using
it a
the
little
Legend
bit,
Pro.
but let's just get into the charts so you guys can understand. The
Again, you guys
charts.
should be able to see my screen. So this channel right here.
So this
can you guys
this is
hear
more
me?
the technical side, guys.
It says my internet connection is not stable.
I know, Scrounger, you're new
So
to this
hopefully you guys
trading,
you can hear me. Okay,
this gives
good.
you a better understanding on how to play the stock
Perfect.
market with the
Okay, good. Thank you.
with the candles and stuff like that.
So when it comes to entries and exits, guys, I think for the most part,
Mic off.
when we do the like one-on-ones, we get really specific. I don't think we're gonna get into that level of details. But when it comes to entries and exits, the two main things that you should be focusing on, right? Two main things. You're either like it's either gonna be a breakout, right, or it's gonna be a sell-off. And I think what we should do today is focus on the breakouts because I know a lot of you guys struggle with the breakouts. So breakouts and retest is what I want to talk about first. Alrighty, so when you're looking at some of these, some of these names that are moving up,
Are you
right, and you're
showing it?
unsure like about how to play the breakout, and the reason why I want to focus on breakouts is because we talk about momentum a lot, right? Momentum is like it's what we do, right? We're usually looking for stocks that have momentum. So the idea is like when you see something that's moving up, like how are you supposed to play with that? Alrighty, cool. So THAR, right? So what I like to do when it comes to breakouts is I will always go back and find the last high, right? So let's say you're looking at something like this, right? For some of the gold members, they're like, oh, this is pretty easy. Like I can see it fairly easy, right? Like Tony.
Thank you.
And Luna, right? So
No questions, no anything.
when you look at
no
something like this, it's fairly easy to you.
Started, but I don't see the video. I just see the Discord.
Yeah, same.
Circuit, you want to let me know what you got going on here?
Oh, watch stream.
Yeah, that's just like I said, it's just a Discord. But he was talking about the video, and it's not on. There it is. Good. There you go.
Right, which is fine. But again, so breakouts, right? When you're watching something and it's flying, what I would recommend you do is try not to FOMO, and this should play a role as well in early pre-market, right? Like when you have a name that has a catalyst and it has that initial run, right? So the breakout will be really, really important. So an example like this, we'll come back to the other way around. Hopefully my charts didn't just reset. Of course they did.
Pause it.
Of course they did.
Pause it. Okay. That was really important information right there, how he said catalyst and the breakouts. So he's looking at the news as well. He's also looking at why it's moving. So it's just good to know to see him actually using the words and terminology, and he actually knows what he's talking about a little bit, right? All right, keep going.
Okay. See, I think that's why. I think my internet connection is not stable, so it's giving me issues here. I don't know why all of those scribbles are there now. But yeah, back to Wednesday. Is that Wednesday? I think this is Wednesday. Okay, and then we're gonna go all the way back to pre-market here. So yeah, I must start my yeah, no, it's mine. Okay, there we go. Should be working now. Good. So when you have these names in early pre-market, right, that have, a PR, or regardless of why the stock is moving, this is the most dangerous time to get in. Alrighty, like this is the most dangerous time to get in on that initial push. The reason for that is because, again, you have to understand that, like, a lot of trading, the momentum trade, the momentum trading that we're doing is, to me, is based on psychology. There's a lot more that goes on in the mind than it is technical analysis sometimes. Alrighty,
Yeah.
so especially when you wake up in the morning and there's a list of 10 different stocks you're potentially looking at, as much as you're confused and you're not sure when to get in, the large group of people that are unsure about that entry as well. So when you FOMO into this initial run like this, you're playing with fire. Right? There are times where you're completely sure, like you're confident that, okay, this article is really nice. This company has this and this and this, so I think it's gonna work out. But if you're not sure, the best thing to do is not get into this position on that initial run. Does that make sense? So again, when you
Mhm.
see this initial push, if you're quite confident, like in the actual PR, you can go ahead and jump in. If not, what I tend to do sometimes, and I do this a lot, especially on these names, even if I am confident, what I usually do is I will take a horizontal line and put it at the very top. So when you have this initial run, right? So this initial run here, let's hide all of this. When you have this initial run and it's stalling. So what I mean by stalling is, if you have more than 3 candles failing at the same spot, that's what we call a T-Rex, right? So once you're stalling in a spot like this, that's when I would go ahead and put that horizontal line. Alrighty? So you do not put a line for resistance, right? Until we're actually stalling and potentially failing and going back down. So this is gonna be your breakout spot, right? This should be the only time you FOMO. The only time you FOMO is if we can break above that resistance and close above that resistance. What happens now is everybody's sitting behind the computer and they're like, okay, I thought, so when you have that initial push, everybody, we all have an understanding that this is resistance, right? So now nobody wants to touch that position. Everybody's sitting back and waiting, right? But I promise you, most of the time, there are times that it doesn't work, obviously. Most of the time, though, if we can break above the spot, like that second run, and I, like, again, I'm making a lot of promises, but I promise you, most of the time, if we can come back and break above this resistance, this second run will be better than the first run. Like, this feels like you're missing out on the world, doesn't it? Like you're missing out on everything. But if we can dip and come back and break out above this level, the run you're gonna get is gonna be amazing. Like, if we can actually break and hold, that's gonna be a beautiful run. So for me, most of the time, especially in pre-market or at the market open or at any given point, I try and stay away from that initial run. Yeah, 180. Yeah, I try and stay away from this initial run. The reason is, again, if you have a whole bunch of stocks you're paying attention to, I'm not quite confident enough that this is gonna be the one. But I know for sure that if we can break above this resistance right there, I know it's gonna cook, right? So that's what I would recommend. So now, as the day goes on, right, you can see that we're failing at that same resistance. Now that's the second test, right? So clearly that's not a breakout. When I say breakouts, what I mean by that is we need to break and close the candle above that line. So if we're breaking the
Yep.
price, if we're wicking above the price, it doesn't really mean anything. Alrighty, so and honestly, that's what the market makers do sometimes, right? They will wick the candles above, wick it above, and you feel like it's a breakout, but it's not actually a breakout.
Yeah.
Alrighty. The other part to this is when I say breakout and closing above, I don't mean that the entire candle, like the entire candle doesn't need to close above this line. Cool. As long as some piece of that candle is closing above that line, that is considered the breakout. That's what I would consider a breakout. Alrighty. Yeah, this is the
I'd
one
say
minute
your
time frame.
odds,
Usually
even if
the
it
1 minute
lands
time
there,
frame
you
because
have
we're
to wait
playing
the
with
next couple of
momentum
minutes,
stocks.
40-60 at best. It's 40-60 at best when you have a breakout. Is one of my other rules that I would go into in dynamic trading and my extras. But it's one of the main rules that we follow because a breakout can be employed by them before somebody takes another chunk, and like how it goes down there. The bar never actually closed above his line, which is a good sign that it's not a breakout. But the other thing is that had it broke out or had it closed above that line and then dropped again, it would have been a fake out. So we still have to be careful. We need to see momentum. We need to see reason why it wouldn't just drop again if investors are pulling back out. And another reason is that this is after hours trading. I don't know if he highlighted that quite enough, but this is after hours trading. He's going into the night before the next day. And a lot of companies, you have to pay extra to be able to play the after hours, whereas all the big companies can. And that's where usually that big movement's coming from. We have big investors there who have probably just taken a little chunk for themselves. That's usually what those red bars are. So we have all these people hyping into the thing, hyping it up, getting to resistance, and then we have a couple investors be like, "Oh, hey, let me just profit off of this because I have a ticker going off because I'm already in this stock from the beginning because this is my company." Question mark, question mark, question mark. It's that kind of stuff, right? So that's what they're doing. People with money are moving that stock. So it's going to test resistance again and then see like, "Oh, hey, are people actually interested in this?" No. So it's going to go back down. But then because everybody's going to sleep and the market's closed and nobody's really looking at it, we'll have to wait until the daytime when market opens and be like, oh, is this going to catch on? Is there more news? Is there anything that are people doing? Is it being talked about on social media? That's your catalyst. That's what you're waiting for, to see a beautiful breakout and it hold that bar for at least a couple of minutes before it just skyrockets. And you can get a nice little wave out of that. And that's what we're looking for. So he's explained it quite beautifully, actually. I really appreciate this video that you've posted, but yeah, that's literally how we do it. Continue.
Alrighty. Yeah, this is the 1 minute time frame. Usually the 1 minute time frame because we're playing with momentum stocks. So 1 minute time frame is what I would focus on. Alrighty. So again, as long as we're waking above and not closing above, that's not considered a breakout. Alrighty, so now let's keep moving along, right? So, and as the day goes on, we're playing a lot of games, nothing's really happening, nothing happens. Again, this goes back to human psychology. All of retail is sitting behind the computer and they're like, well, I don't want to get in because it's not breaking out, right? And so the reason why people don't want to get in is not because they don't want to, it's because they're either not sure or they're not being forced to, right? Retail likes to be forced to to FOMO, right? Like we like to FOMO. We like, as much as we say like, oh, I FOMOed into this position, we like it, even if we like it might be a subconscious thing, but we like to FOMO. That's why when you see these stocks break out and they can actually confirm the breakout, the volume actually comes in, right? At this point, no one's sure and nobody wants to take the first shot, I guess. Body, yeah, the body has to close above the line. Alrighty, so I mean, look at what's happening, right? There's nothing happening right now, right? The reason for that is we haven't been forced to FOMO into this position because we know there's a ceiling right here. Alrighty, there's a ceiling right there. So now as the day progresses, we're just failing and failing and failing and nothing is happening, right? And failing and failing and failing, and right there, that's the breakout. For some reason, Siri has been anyways, so you see that candle right there? That's your actual breakout. Alrighty. Another thing that I will come back down and explain. I'll come back and explain that a little bit later on, right? But this is your breakout, right? So you see what I mean by breakout? The candle actually breaking and closing above. That's your breakout.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Does that make sense? Like, does it make a bit of sense now what I mean by a breakout? Yeah? Let me know. So again, that's an actual breakout. The candle has to break and actually close above. And if you're looking for an entry, that's your entry. That first candle closing above that zone, that's your entry. Right? That's your entry. Cool. The only other thing you have to keep in mind, and there's nothing I can do about that, is if you play the breakout, make sure that this breakout, the entry, isn't like 50 cents above the line. Right? As long as you're breaking and closing above that area, I don't mind that at all. Alrighty? We'll talk about the other side, Randy. Cool. We'll talk about the other side. So now the question is, okay, if I get into that position right there, right? Where does my stop loss go? Why is he screaming? I don't know. So the question now is, if I get into that position right there, right? Yeah, fear of reversal. That's okay. Let's see how this progresses, right? And I'll come back again and show you another example. So again, if you get into that position right there, where does your stop loss go? Does anybody know? Yeah, and then you end up missing it. Yeah, so Jill, it's a fear of like lack of trust in the strategy, not anything else, right? Most people have an issue with this, not because it doesn't work, but because they get into the position without a plan, right? You jump in right there and then you watch it, right? That's the problem with the strategy. Alrighty. So again, there you go, right? So when you get into that position on the breakout, your stop loss is supposed to go to the bottom of the candle before the actual breakout. Alrighty. So again, if you get into that position right there, your stop loss goes to the bottom of the candle before we actually broke out. Does that make sense? Yeah. Alrighty. So
Yep,
that's what
that's
you're
actually not a
supposed to
bad
do.
plan.
So again, that's where your stop
you
loss
stick
is
to it.
supposed to go. So in this case, if you got into that position right there, your stop loss would have been right there. And obviously we never hit that stop loss again. Alrighty, and if you kind of look at what's happened here now, is that stock just went boom skis, and we'll come back again and look at other breakouts. Right, we'll follow this chart along as the day progresses here. Did my chart just reset again? Oh, this is getting so annoying, so annoying, so annoying, so annoying. This is all Peter's fault. Look at that, like it just reset the whole thing, and then now I have to scroll up. Good thing it's only Wednesday, you know. So we don't have to scroll back too far. I know, right? This is Canadian internet. It's okay though. So that's a breakout, guys. Alrighty, that's a breakout. So let's talk about a breakout and a retest, because both of those come hand in hand. Alrighty. So because we talk about retest all the time on stream, and I think people are not quite sure what we mean by that. Is so that's your breakout. Right? And maybe Jill, this is what you need to do. Alrighty. So when a stock is breaking out, we know at this point that it's gonna come back for the retest, right? At some point, it's gonna come back and test that level that it just broke out from. Alrighty. At some point, it's gonna come back and retest that level, right? So when we have this breakout, if you're like, you know what, I don't know if I want to get in here. This is too scary. I'm buying the highs. Wait for the retest. Alrighty, what I mean by the retest is the stock is gonna pop because people are excited, but we're gonna come back for the retest. Cool. So this is the retest when the stock is coming back. So again, this is the breakout zone, right? We knew this because early pre-market, first high, right? So now when it's breaking above this level, it's gonna come back and retest that zone. Does that mean you should get into that position at that price? No, you never want to do that, right? You never want to do that until you're actually getting confirmation of it actually holding. Alrighty. So how do you play the retest? Well, so the issue with the retest is if you're trying to put an order there and wait for it to come back to that level, there are times where we break below that level and then we just keep dipping and dipping and dipping and dipping, right? Then you're like, dang it, I thought this was a retest. How come it's not holding, right? It's because you're not supposed to just jump in on the retest. What you're supposed to do is watch for a higher low at the retest spot. So what I mean by that is, so as the candles are dropping, you need to give it at least 2 candles. Okay, so as this candle is dropping to that level, you let that candle close. Now you need to also make sure that the second candle closes above the bottom of the first candle, if that makes any sense. Alrighty, so I'll show you what it means. So again, so now look at the second candle, right? The second candle is dropping, it's making a brand new low. That means we're not ready for that turnaround yet. Alrighty, so now look at this candle though. So again, this is the low right there. If you guys can see my screen, right? That's the low. So now look at this candle. This candle is dropping, but it's not breaking below that low, right? That is potential confirmation of the candles giving you higher low. Yeah? Good, Tony. Alrighty. So again, this candle right there is the candle that's actually your potential entry because it's pointing to the fact that we're gonna reverse. So if you're looking for the retest of the breakout, you're not just jumping in because we got to the level, right? It's like people saying, hey, but it's at support. Do I just buy it, right? No, you don't just buy at support because it's support. You have to make sure that it's getting confirmed, right? So as long as the candles are making brand new lows, you do not touch it, right? So new low, oh, this candle isn't making a brand new low. This is the area you're looking for an entry, right? And if you get into that position right there, you put a stop loss. Alrighty. So again, your issue, like for most of you, like the issue is you're just not sure what the strategy is. So then you're not taking the position because you're not confident, or you're just you're just not taking the position because of trading PTSD. Alrighty. So if you take that position right there, where does your stop loss go? Your stop loss goes right below this level. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. This is the whole point of waiting for that candle to not to give you a higher low, is so your stop loss can go right below that level. Right? We can look at this and say, okay, market makers, whoever is controlling the markets, right? People buying the dip, whoever it is, for some reason, they didn't let it go below this level. So I'm going to put my stop loss right below that level. Right? So Andrew, it's not about percentage, right? It's not about percentage. It's more about price action.
Yes.
And when we do the one-on-one, it's going to make a bit more sense. So hopefully you've scheduled one. But again, it's not about percentage. I know people always say, oh, like, what's my stop loss
Price
percentage,
action is
right?
king.
To
Remember
me,
that.
it's not
Price
about
action is king.
percentage, right? To me, it's about the price action, 89%, right? So
Price
to
action
me,
is king.
if this damn momentum stock has decided to bounce at this area and I bought it somewhere there, I'm going to put my stop loss right below the level that it's bounced at. I don't care about percentage. I don't care about anything else. If it breaks below this level, I don't want it. Why? Because it just broke below level that it bounced at last time. Retail is going to panic. Right? People are going to panic. Yeah. If it goes lower, it will go lower. Exactly. Right?
Yep.
If you're willing to put your stop loss somewhere in the abyss, it's going to hit. Promise. Cool. Let me go back down to the open and show you another example here. When you're trading in pre-market, right? So it's more about the price action rather than the percentage. So again, do you always so if you look at this, the reason we're playing that breakout there is because we had this pre-market double top, right? Is that what you need to do every time? No, that's not what you need to do. You can always look for the last resistance, the last running high, right? So something like this. Something like this, okay? Something like this.
Pause,
So
please.
this is the first run that the stock had. This is the first run. Right? So run. You can clearly tell there's a problem right here, right? So like I said, the way you tell that there is a problem
Circuit,
is when you
please pause. Thank you.
I
You got a
just wanted to
question?
say what I actually, yeah, no, not even so much a question, but I actually just like how he's explaining that. So I have a friend who's been into commodities, trades gold now, but anyways, long story short, just how he showed that, even with the trading psychology as well, is that if you're to set a mental stop loss as to where it's about to drop down, it makes complete sense, because then of course the order will be filled once it comes down. Institutions are able to just like get down and catch up all of those stop losses at that point. Doesn't matter where it's at. But setting a setting a mental one, or one just before the major breakout happens, a stop loss there, or even a buy order, setting a buy order for yourself where you expect where you expect that stop loss to be would be huge, because then even if you technically lose on that trade right there, then you would be able to take the upswing up. But ultimately, if it
Yes.
goes down, then it goes down, and then it doesn't really matter. So I like to say things just to remind myself, and so I
Yeah.
truly understand it. But no, just right there makes complete sense, because ultimately it doesn't really matter if you lose out on the trade or not. You can still catch the upswing as long as that's what you're looking for.
Exactly. That's actually well said. Yeah, you're just looking to ride the wave. You're not looking to like overstay yourself. You're just looking to ride the wave real quick. And look at how fast it moves over the next 20 minutes. Like, it moves quick. It's great. It's great
Yeah,
learning
thanks
today.
for pausing.
But yeah, no, you're absolutely right, bud.
have more than 3 candles, right? So again, right there, when you start to see more than 3 candles stalling in the same spot, it's stalling. You have a problem. You have a problem, right? So this is when you can say, okay, you know what? I'm going to put my horizontal line somewhere here, right? Because it's resistance, right? So now when the stock is selling off, right? Dip, 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 right? You notice how this first candle made the low, like the actual low? Look at the next candles, guys. Look at this, right? This candle isn't making a new low. That candle isn't making a new low. This candle isn't making a new low. That can be a cheat code. That can be a bit of a cheat code to tell, like, hey, this stock isn't going any lower, right? Maybe I need to think of an entry, right? But that's not really what we're focusing on today, right? We can do that next time. Alrighty.
Yeah.
So look at this other example on the left hand side here, right? As long as we're making brand new lows, you don't touch it. So new low, you don't touch it. New low, you don't touch it. The candle that isn't making a brand new low is potentially pointing to the fact that we're ready to go for a pop. Alrighty. So now if we go back over here and we look at this line, where's the breakout? This is the breakout right there, right? That's the candle that's breaking and closing above. Where's your stop loss supposed to go again, guys? Your stop loss goes to the bottom of the previous low, right there. That would have been your stop loss. I feel like Blaze is talking faster than when he's on YouTube. Maybe. Alrighty. So right there, that's the breakout. That's your stop loss, right? We don't care about the percentage. We don't care about anything. We care about the price action, right? We're focused on human psychology is what we're focused on. That's it, right? We're focused on the fact that we know that people are going to get excited on the way up, but if it's coming back down, I don't want it because they're also going to panic. You might just be excited, right? Good, Andrew. Good. So again, this would have been your entry right there. That would have been your stop loss right there, right? And then breakout, boomskis. Boomski. Look at that. That's a beautiful breakout, right? So again, Jill, the reason why you're struggling with these, right? The reason why you're struggling with getting into a breakout position, I think it's because you don't have a clear plan of what you're supposed to be doing, right? You're not
the biggest thing
confident.
is
So
a
if you
plan.
took that breakout right there, Jill, it would have worked. And then if you took this breakout again right there and you put a stop loss at where you're supposed to put a stop loss, your stop loss would have never hit. Alrighty, you want to do that again? So again, let's hide these candles, right? Let's look for the next breakout. So every time you're stalling, that creates a potential breakout spot. So right there, right here, you notice how we're stalling right there? That's a potential breakout spot. So what are we going to do? We're going to take a horizontal line. Someone's not muted. And so we can put that line right there. Another really important thing to keep in mind, guys, is we see candles like these ones happen quite a bit, right? When you're looking for a breakout, you notice how this candle is quite long like that? If this candle closed right there, I wouldn't trust it. Why? Right?
Yep.
So when you play the breakout, try and stay away from the candles that are like explosive. Because sometimes what happens is the market maker will do that intentionally to get you excited. Alrighty, so when you play the breakout, try and stay away from the candles that go from the bottom all the way to the top to breakout. I like the ones where we're creating like higher lows and then we close above, right? So again, this would have been our potential breakout spot, which it didn't happen here, obviously, because that's the first one. Exactly, that's a scam candle, right? This is the second test of the breakout, but obviously we're not closing above, right? So this doesn't count, right? This does not count as a breakout, obviously, because we haven't closed above, right? So now we keep waiting for the breakout. We're waiting, and look, that candle is a bit better, isn't it? We're getting higher low. It's a smaller candle right there. And if you took that position, let's say you took this position right there, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to put a stop loss somewhere to the bottom of the candle before the breakout, right? And if you did that, let's see what happens. Boom skis, we're pumping again, right? And you can sell that position the next time we're stalling, right? It's up to you to find a good entry. You never know how much you're gonna get out of it, right? And honestly, to me, you can see that there's a lot of stalling right here. And by now, you know, when a stock is stalling, it means it wants to go back down.
So you sell.
Alrighty, so you might only have a little bit of gains, but you're also buying a breakout. When you play the breakout, you have to be ready to get out quick.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you show up to the bank, right? You're about to rob the bank, right? You know you're taking the most dangerous entry, right? Like you have to get out quicker. Alrighty? And then this is kind of the retest. And we talked about retest, right? So when it comes to a retest, right? And so with this retest, we already know that this level is going to be important, right? Why? Because this was our breakout. This was our breakout spot. Right? So we know this level is going to be important. We know by now when we break out, we always want to come back and test that level. We also know that we're not supposed to be touching that stock the first time we get to the breakout, right? Like we don't just jump in because we're at a breakout. We know what to do now. We say, okay, well, we're getting to the breakout spot. We do not get in because we don't have that higher low candle yet. So this candle is making a low. We're at the breakout spot. I don't care, right? Next candle, making a brand new low. Do I touch it? Hell no. right? But these two candles though, as long as we're making that high, like we're no longer creating brand new lows, once you start doing stuff like that, you can consider a position. Your stop loss has to go right below though, right? This might be a 1% loss, a 2%
Mic
loss.
on.
It doesn't have to be 8 or 6%, right? We know if we break below this level, people are going to panic. So why should we wait longer for them to panic more so we can lose more, right? No. And if you took that position at the bottom there or the curl back up, that would have been beautiful. Beautiful, right? Beautiful. This is actually a really nice chart, right? So again, you guys want to keep going? Want to keep going? So again,
Hey,
every
we're
time
good
we
right there.
stall, every time we stall, this is your potential breakout spot, right? So I'm going to take a horizontal line. I'm going to put it right there. So you notice how like I'm not going to the top of the wick. I don't care about the top of the wick, right? Why would I trust this level with one candle more than I trust this level with a whole bunch of candles? So now I know that this is going to be the breakout spot going forward, right? So if I'm looking for an entry on the breakout, it's pushing up. Well, it's clearly not closing above.
And I just want to add to this too. You guys notice he has these lines here that are above the candles, right? So the wicks. Heikin-Ashi indicators is probably the best tool that you can use within TradingView, and it'll give you those lines. Otherwise, you're just gonna get like no candlesticks.
Right? Rob the banks. Right? Yeah. So again, it's clearly not closing above. Right? Am I in the wrong chat? I think I'm in the wrong chat. There we go.
Are you?
Right? So this is yeah. Climbing the road to riches.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's go, Peter. Love it. So now we know that we need to break and close above that level. This one's a bit dangerous because we're aggressively breaking out, right? But that is technically a breakout, right? So sometimes when you see stuff like this, guys, like when the candle is so aggressive like this, I would be very skeptical, right? Like we just mentioned, right? When the candle is this aggressive, you know to me, I know it's gonna come back for a retest, right? So I'm not gonna be I'm not gonna be here. I'm not gonna sit here and say, "Oh my goodness, I missed it. I need to chase it up," right? No, the candle is already closing somewhere up here, right? If the candle is already all the way up here, and I wanted to get in down here, I'm not gonna chase it up there because that's an aggressive candle. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait for a retest. Alrighty. So what do I mean by retest? Well, we talked about retest, right? So we go to the right hand side. This is your retest, right? We break out, but it's too aggressive for me to get in, right? So what do I do instead? I wait for the retest of the breakout. What do I mean by retest? I mean when the candles are starting to give you higher lows, right? So we have a low, right? And then we have a brand new low, right? So no touchy yet. No touchy yet, guys, right? And then right here, when this candle is no longer making a low by the time the candle is closing, I know good things are potentially coming. If I do take that risk, I'm going to have to put my stop loss right below the previous low. Does the retest make sense, guys? Let me know if it does or if I need to explain it a bit more. Because I see people get into positions and they're like, but I thought it was a retest and it's still crashing. Does that make sense? Let me know. I'm just waiting for you guys to tell.
Does anybody want to add to that as well, or Anon?
Nothing as of yet, actually.
Okay.
I was just paying attention. My bad. I was just like trying to fully understand like what he was saying, but just off of if we can't. Oh, I guess it's kind of difficult because the video's just at that point. Can you rewind it just like a couple seconds if possible? Just because I want to see the chart right there and see what he's showing.
Okay.
He's probably going to
I
go
wait for the retest
back.
of the breakout.
Okay,
What do I
right
mean
here.
by
Pause it.
retest? I mean
I'm assuming that if we just continuously watch, but the three candles that he has closest to the 2.47, it has shown like I'm assuming that he's looking for his like mentally he's waiting for the after the three to go. Now he's going to be taking the assumption that we're going to be going past that breakout, but it might be a little bit difficult because this is also on the 1 minute. So this is scalping. I would just assume then though, right there, that because that's a formed a double top at the same point, but it's not breaking through that level. So we can assume that it's going to come back down a little bit more. So, I mean, there's a
Right.
million ways that you could look at it and analyze it, but maybe we'll just continue to watch and see what he says.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. No. It's yeah. Yeah. We'll just watch it. I
When the
guess.
candles are starting to give
Hold
you
on.
higher lows.
Huh?
I said, hold on a second. I do have to head out, so I appreciate everybody having me here. I do want to add to that. For the 3 candles, he's looking for his confirmation.
Yeah.
You're seeing the price action again. Price action is king, right? So you're looking at how there's more green than red, and the red was rather sudden. You have greens going back up, testing it again, coming back down, testing it again, right? Because you wouldn't see that right side just yet, right? If you're watching it at that time, but having at least a break on that line, and you're like, okay, this could go up a bit. Yes, you'd be scalping at that point, but again, is this still early in the run? Is this still early in the day? You're kind of hitting this now, what, midday or in the afternoon? So you probably missed the initial run up. So if you're watching the stock earlier, right, like as you should be doing, like at market open, then you would be seeing these patterns already coming. Otherwise, if you're coming at this later and you're seeing this, you should understand why it is and use that what he's doing as information. Like, okay, so see how it went down, it went back up, it's testing, it's doing the same thing that you see in other stocks over and over again. Use that as to learn yourself. Don't be afraid that you're missing out on it. Just learn from that though. So that's basically what he's trying to show you. It's like, this is where I would probably have put my thing, right? And he's not trying to get down to those low dips where it's just like, I don't know, have any clue what's going on. He's trying to make an actual educated guess as to where this thing would move. And if it weren't to go that way, look, his stop loss is just under the next bar. So he would be losing only a couple of dollars. Had it
Exactly.
gone up, right, he'd only be losing a couple of dollars. Where had it gone up, he could make $100, make $200, right? So
Right.
you're balancing your loss with your gain. So as
Mhm.
long as you're not losing more than you're gaining and you're getting out and you're following your rules rather than just being like ho and humming and be like, oh, it could turn around, and then watch it just tank right back to where it was. And resistances don't care. Like market makers will be like, no, this is enough, and then or they'll call their big investor be like, hey, take your share. Like, you know what I mean? That's all it takes.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. That does make a lot of sense just right
Right.
there.
Right.
But you
So
just the thing that I like to like what I like to look at, just me personally, just to add in there, is that, and you're saying it in another way as well, but looking when you're talking about the time frame, so looking to see what I believe is, just from what I've learned, is that money moving from the time of day. So when looking at Forex, we're looking at market opens in, I'm fairly certain that it's Sydney or Japan time for their for which is roughly 17 hours ahead, right? Like there's a clock for that. I can't remember exactly where it is, but the majority
yeah.
of the major money plays comes from the London session moving over to the New York session. So whatever time frame you can look at that, prepare your setups exactly like you said, and then being able to watch to see like, has it moved yet? Has it not? And then are we gearing up to have that happen?
Yes, actually, yeah, they're looking at that price action. Like he was saying, and even I will say, price action is king. That should be probably one of my main rules. But I mean, yeah, price action is definitely king. That's in part of my dynamic trades that we will go over next time. But no, you're absolutely right. You're looking for your momentum. You're looking for a reason. You're giving yourself a plan. So that way, if it goes up, great success. If it goes down, you can catch yourself, right? You're giving yourself space to fail. And you're not doing it in a way that's going to, bankrupt you. You're doing it in a way that's, you're testing the waters.
Absolutely. Like look how tight his stop loss is. It's so tight, right?
It
Like
is.
it's super tight. He's put it at like what is it? He's bought it at this entry probably 236. It's like a penny or 2 pennies, isn't it? Like, well, what is that? Is it about 2 cents difference? Is what he's playing with?
Right. But it's about how many shares. How many shares is he actually playing with? Is it 1,000? Is it 5,000? Is it 10,000?
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Because of these penny stocks, you can put more shares in, but you also have to be careful that these penny stocks also have low volume. So they have low amount of shares to give away. They might only have a 10 million share count. They might only have a 5 million share count. So, and that's why these little penny stocks that are like $10 million, $50 million, $100 million, they're really small. They can explode in a second. It's easy to go up from a million to 10 million. It's easy to go from 10 million to 20 million to 30 million. It's really hard for a company to go from 100 million to like 500 million, or from 500 million to a billion. That's a lot of money. But when people have millions to throw around, these small stocks can move real quick.
Yeah, and it's important to look to the left as well. Like, don't necessarily look to the right all the time, but what I've learned is to look at the left. You know what I mean? Does that make
History
sense?
repeats itself. Yeah,
Yes.
history will repeat
Looking at the
itself.
left is probably the most important thing to do as well. Like, don't just look over here, but find out what's happening over here. Right?
Yep.
I'll continue the video though. Gil, thank you so much
I'm
for
gonna.
coming in.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna head out. Everybody have a great night. I was appreciating you
Yeah.
having me here, and thank you again.
Have a good night.
To see you next time.
Appreciate it, fellas.
Right.
Awesome.
So we have a low,
Bye.
right? And then we
Bye.
have a brand new low, right? So no touchy yet. No touchy yet, guys, right? And then right here,
Let's see how
when
this
this
plays
candle
out.
is no longer making a low by the time the candle is closing, I know good things are potentially coming. If I do take that risk, I'm going to have to put my stop loss right below the previous low. Does the retest make sense, guys? Let me know if it does, or if I need to explain it a bit more. Because I see people get into positions and they're like, but I thought it was a retest and it's still crashing.
You're not on the video.
Oh, I'm not on the video?
Oh wait,
Shit.
are you?
Does
Am I?
that make sense? Let me know.
I don't know. I can't see. 1
I'm
second.
just waiting for you
Oh,
guys to
you
type
are.
in the
My bad.
chat.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm breaking out. Oh.
We'll just skip ahead a little bit
my
because his voice is breaking up.
Yeah, let me disconnect some of my. Unplug the toaster. I know, right? Does that make sense, though, guys? Right? Does the retest make sense, or do I need to look at what's happened? It's reset my stupid chart again. Okay, I'm gonna come back to. I'm gonna scroll back again, because for some reason it wants us to keep doing that. So I think we're somewhere right here. Somewhere right here. Perfect. So did you guys hear me though? Like, does the retest part make sense? Like, does that part make sense? Let me know. Repeat the last one. We lost about 30 seconds worth. Okay, sounds good. Let me go back then. So what I was saying was, right, breakouts. Right, let me delete some of these circles here so it's a bit more I'm gonna delete some of these circles. Whoever watches the recording, it's not gonna have all of these, you know, audio issues. Perfect. How do you find a retest? So we'll explain that as well. So the retest will always come to retest your last breakout. So again, let's go back to the left-hand side, right? We said, how do you find resistance, right? The way you find your resistance or your breakout spot is when you have multiple candles stalling. So let's go back. Let me hide these candles, because I think when you can see these candles, it's kind of cheating, right? It's kind of cheating. So let's say we're right here, right? This is all the information we have. Alrighty, JCN. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. So whenever you see candles stalling like these ones, it means we're finding some resistance, right? This is what we call the T-Rex, right? And like I said earlier, it makes no sense for me to say this is my resistance at the top when I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candles failing right there. I know this is the problem, right? I have enough data here to tell me that this is the breakout spot, right? So now in the future, I'm waiting for the breakout, right? I want to get into this position, but I'm also waiting for the breakout, right? But then we move along to the future, right? And we're waiting for that breakout to get in, right? We're waiting. This candle wicks above like a scam criminal, and it doesn't close above, right? So that's clearly a scam, right? So we're waiting right there. We're back. We're going back to the future. Yeah. Right? So right there, this is your breakout. Does that part make sense? This is your breakout, right? Why? Because the candle is breaking and closing above, right? The problem here is this candle is too aggressive. This candle is too aggressive. If I want to play a breakout, I want it to break and close above this area. I want to get in as close to this line as possible. But if that candle is already closing all the way up there, I don't want it. It's too aggressive, right? So now I know that we're gonna have to come back in the future, right? In the future, we're gonna go up. We're gonna have to come back and test this line area again. So now if we keep scrolling along to the right, Oh, there is the retest, right? You notice how it's coming back down to retest that line that we broke out from? It's because it was too aggressive the first time. And we're coming back down to use that resistance as support. JCN, does that make sense? Right? But now, when we get to that retest area, right? Right? When we get to the retest area, you do not just get in, please. Right? So when we get to the retest area, you're not supposed to just get in. Why? Because you have to wait for confirmation. I'm going to delete some of these. Alrighty? So when we get to the retest area, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to make sure that one of these candles gives you a higher low. So you see how this candle has created a low to the retest area? The very next candle, we're breaking right below that level. Right? So once you start getting higher lows at that retest area, that's when you consider a position. And if you do that, your stop loss goes right below the lowest level. Yeah. So basically, yeah, breakout confirmation. Right? Make sure that we do not close below this low area. Right? So that stop loss has to come into play there. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, Winterfell, like if the low is somewhere in the abyss, right? Like if it's somewhere in the abyss, find a different level. Put that stop loss just put that stop loss right below this level somewhere. Alrighty. So again, so look at this, right? Every time a stock goes up and you have multiple candles stalling at a specific level, this becomes your new breakout level. Right? So we're constantly looking for those breakouts. And if it's a stock that's going to do really well, you're going to have a whole bunch of these ones. Whole bunch of like breakouts and retest and breakouts and retest. Alrighty? So now, when we're stalling right there, I can take a line and put it right there somewhere. Right? I can put that line right there and then I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for the breakout. There's your breakout. Right? There's your breakout. Some of you guys are going to FOMO as soon as we break out. Right? And if you're going to do that, like if you're going to trade aggressively and you jump in on this candle, well, make sure your stop loss is somewhere down here. Do you have to draw at the end of the wick or the candles? It's a fine balance, right? So it's not the end of the wick, so it's not right here. It's more of like the congestion of wicks, right? You notice I'm not going to the body of the candles? I think this is the problem right there. Right? Like this area is the problem. Right? So if you got into that breakout right there, well, guess what? It's gone skis. It's gone skis. Right? And then someone's not muted. Alrighty, does that make sense? That makes sense? This would have been one of those breakouts, and that's another thing you have to keep in mind, right? So let's say you wanted to play that breakout right here, right? Let's say you wanted to play the breakout right there, and all of a sudden we broke out right there, this is what some of you guys are dealing with, which is completely understandable, right? We break out, right? That technically kind of breakout, right? Aggressive breakout, right? If you're not sure, wait for that retest. If you're feeling like, so to me, this candle's closing a little bit aggressively. Like, so we're breaking out and closing, but you notice how we're already creating other wicks on the left-hand side there? This is a bit of a concern, right? But let's say you took that position because it's closing above. This is where that stop loss comes into play. Right? Because as soon as we break below, your stop loss has to be somewhere here. Like this is how much you're risking. This is your risk. I'm okay with that. Right? I'm okay with that. Like if the breakout has a high chance of success, right? And then I get into this play right then, I put a stop loss somewhere down, then it hits. Guess what? I'm okay with that. I'm completely fine with that, right? So to me, a lot of you guys are having issues with the breakouts because you don't have a plan, right? You get in right here and then it's going down. You're like, damn it. What do I do now? Somebody call my mom. I'm sad. It's crashing. Oh my goodness. I'm not gonna have dinner tonight. Oh my days. It's still crashing, guys. What do I do? What do I do? The problem is you never had a plan in the first place, right? Like we've said, if you play the breakout, your stop loss is supposed to go right below the previous candle, right? And if we if we scroll all the way from the beginning, the entire day, if you did this, it worked the entire day, except for maybe right here, right? So what happens when you do this? Well, you have to manage the position. This is where your stop loss comes into play. You have to manage the position, right? If you take 10 trades, there's a pretty good chance that maybe one or two are not going to work out, right? And that's completely okay. Winterfell says average
Mic
down.
off.
No, right? You don't average down. You do not average down. If the plan was to average in, you probably would have been doing that at the bottom, right? You would have been doing
Mic
that at the
on.
bottom. Do not average down when you've gone into a position and then it's slapping you and then you're like, oh, do I add more now? Don't do that.
And that's something I talked to you about, Adon, as well. It's not averaging down, but averaging up, I think, is what he's trying to say right there, too. But yeah, how are we feeling so far? I think we've probably gotten into like more information. This might be information overload at this point. I will probably continue this video in another seminar. Or if you guys feel like you want to keep going, we can. How are you guys feeling?
Me personally, I'm good. But if you do want to
No,
end up,
I'm just wanting to make sure I'm not like information overloading anybody. How are you feeling, Lawrence? Native.
I'm feeling good.
You want to keep going?
I'm down for whatever.
Okay. Good. All right, I'll continue it then.
yeah, it's literally up to you. Obviously, you're taking your time as well, man. So it's like, I love this though. Like, I'm like, man, I'm just how it's being explained to me right now, and then how I'm able to take it and then just apply it to my own stuff. I'm like, wow, this is so simple, but it's so in depth, I would say.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know if you guys are brand new, like obviously I've been doing this for a while, but just to be able to, it's like adding other tools to your shed, like another tool
Absolutely.
to your toolbox, basically. But how he simply just broke it down. But he also, I want to know his what's the term I'm looking for? His indicators, because I see
Oh,
the the candles that he's using. Because usually I would do it
Hakanashi.
another way, but
Yeah.
yeah, the Hakanashi. I didn't want to. I didn't want to butcher it right there. Is what it was. But yeah, then the other indicators, like it's good.
Yeah, I think it's spelled like this. Haikanashi. I'm pretty sure it's spelled like that. I put it in events chat. Haikanashi. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I know it's HEI for sure.
Yeah, TradingView has it automatically at the top, so I switched it over, and I've just been like, like obviously while I'm paying attention, I'm trying to like mark it up myself. I'm like, fucking hell, bro.
Yeah, I know it
So
makes all the difference when you have the right tools, right? Yeah. No, and the other tool that he uses is called the Algo. So I can send a link for that too. Let me just share a link to that right now. It's called the Bull Bear Algo. So that's just right here. So you can master the market with Bull Bear Algo. It's advanced trading signals powered by sophisticated algorithms. So you can navigate both bull and bear markets with precision and confidence. So this is the website that he has, and then it's added on to TradingView. So you might notice that there's like that extra this here. Let's say here, you can see that purple and the purple coming down, and then you see the kind of the wave that it's following, right? So yeah, he has the algo in his trading view, and I'll share that link if you're interested in it. Again, I'm not sponsored by this person, but yeah, not sponsored. But yeah, that's something you could probably look at if you want more tools in your toolbox. I'm gonna probably start using it myself, but yeah, right now I'm just using the.
yeah, I'm looking at. I was like, okay, I really like the way that the indicators are, so I might just test it out first. But yeah, no, it's not bad. So
Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm probably gonna try it out myself. Absolutely. It's actually not too bad. Like you can do monthly or something like that, I think. What was it? It's like $25 a month for 3 months. So I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Anyway, I'll continue the video. Glad you guys are all good.
Andrew, that's okay. That's completely okay. sometimes breakout doesn't hold. You need to get out ASAP. Exactly. Right?
Mic
At
off.
some point, it's going to be the highs of the day. Exactly, Tony. Right? At some point, the stock is going to be done running at 200%, right? So at some point, you need to know that it's going to dip. And when it is dipping, that's where that stop loss will save you. A stop market order don't allow me to put if the stock moves up. I'm not sure I understand. Jill says I talked myself out of getting in because I kept saying it's too much and it kept going. Exactly, Jill. Right? This is not so trading should not be based on like, oh, I think, right? Like you have to come up with strategy. If you come to me and say, hey Blaze, like I tried this strategy, it didn't work, I'm gonna work with you and say, hey, like next time do this instead, right? But then we can make progress. If you come to me and you're like, I thought this was gonna happen, but then this happened, like there's nothing I can do about that, right? Because that stuff is in your mind. Like I cannot, like we can have conversations, but that's in your mind, right? There has to be a strategy. It has to be. Right? The analogy we keep using is if you're crossing the road, you have to look at both sides of the road, right? Left and right. So you have to plan for the downside while hoping that, there isn't a. How to prevent a panic situation when price plummets more than we expected. So again, stock rider, have like when you go into a position, there should be no expectation in the first place, right? When I get into this position, stock rider, I don't know if it's gonna go up or go down, right? I'm doing my absolute best to come up with a plan, right? So again, let's say we get into this position right there, right? When we're getting in, we have a strategy, right? We have a strategy. We don't know what's gonna happen though. Are we gonna keep going up or are we gonna go down? We don't know, right? So expectation, not a whole bunch of it, right? You just need to have that plan, right? So we're gonna get in there, we're gonna put our stop loss there, we hope it doesn't hit. But again, this is my risk reward. This is my risk, right? My reward, I don't know. I hope it's a lot, but this is how much I'm willing to risk, right? I'm willing to put a stop loss below the bottom of the last candle, right? I'm not willing to let it go to the abyss though. This is unacceptable to me, right? This should not happen. Alrighty? Cool? Cool. Okay. Good. Yep, Tony, absolutely. Okay, so that's that for that stock. Let's take a look at something else. Somebody pick a different stock. You guys want to look at ELAB, EEIQ? Somebody pick one of these stocks at the top or something else. Someone's not muted. I don't know who it is.
Mic on.
Let's see.
I thought that was one of
Maybe,
you guys.
I don't think it's Andrew. Is it you?
Mic off.
Or Randy? Maybe. There's only two of you not muted.
What would you consider or
Okay, muted. Let's do Mullen. No Mullen. No Mullins. You're welcome, Stock Rider. Can we look at Open and MRM? Yeah, we can look at those names. Yeah, let's look at Open, right? So let's talk about breakouts and Open. Let's go all the way down because Open was I'm just waiting for the candles to load because you can kind of see how they're missing. This is kind of annoying, isn't it? I'm gonna refresh it. Refresh. Can you tell my connections is garbage? Can you tell? Yeah, it's my connection's pretty weak. Okay, I'm just waiting.
connections go?
I'm gonna close out as many things as possible. 1 sec.
Mic on.
I can tell because the message isn't even sending,
I'm gonna skip it a little bit, just because he's having connection issues.
Velvet. Reconnecting.
Just a minute, Marley.
Yeah. Okay. I can't seem to spell open, you know? Unless this is just taking its time to load as well. I mean, it's a good thing that this wasn't happening on stream. Can you still hear me, Rob? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna go back to the old one. Unbelievable, right? Okay. Wi-Fi then slapped. Quality seems worse on hotspot. I think so. I think we're gonna stick with like not hotspot. Yeah, we're gonna stick with the actual Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi should work better than. Okay, there we go. Look at open, right? Open still looks good, doesn't it? Looks good, doesn't it, guys? Right? Looks good. So let's go back down on open, like all the way down, like all the way down, right? All the way down to the open.
Look at that, guys.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
So this is open. You see it? You see it? You like it? Yeah. You guys can hear me, right? Just type yes if you can. If I start talking and then no one can hear me. Perfect. I can see you guys typing, so that's good. That is good. Good. Perfect. Maybe. So open, right? You notice how we had that initial run up on open, right? So this is the initial run up, right? Beautiful. Right? So initial run up on open, that looks good, right? How do we find the resistance? When you kind of have an area where like we're filling at, right? And if you're really not sure, that will come after you start seeing red candles. Like if it's not obvious, that will come when you start seeing red candles. Alrighty? So now we look at this and we're going to put that horizontal line like right there, right? So we know we have two options, right? So option number one is, which again, we're kind of talking about breakouts today, which this one was an aggressive breakout, right? So this one's a bit unfortunate, right? Because it's really aggressive, right? But your other option here though would have been this option at the very bottom, right? So and honestly, like a rule of thumb when it comes to retesting is half of, like 50% of the last move, right? So again, let's say this is the full move, right? Let's say that's the full move, right? Like retracing 50% of that is kind of like, you know, and like that's kind of the usual retest. That's what you want, right? If you're looking for an entry, like a proper retest, you want to see around like 50% of a retest, right? And you notice how these candles are retesting below the 9 EMA, like the below the 9, you're getting one is dropping and creating a new low. The very next candle creates a new low. The very next candle creates a new low until right there, and it stops, right? So right there, when we stop and we start to consolidate a little bit, now you can see the pushback up. Alrighty, so again, this to me at the bottom, in this case, obviously it's hindsight, that would have been a better entry, right? Because this breakout, this initial breakout right here was quite aggressive, but that's still a breakout that worked, right? If you wanted to take a gamble somewhere there, well, you just had to make sure that there was a stop loss below this level, right? If you're willing to like take that and losses if we do come back down there. Alrighty, cool. So again, next breakout, right?
Blaze, can I say something, Blaze, real quick?
Sure.
I'm sorry, man. You just made me think about something. For like breakout, when you said that when you mentioned put a stop on if you're gonna get aggressive like that, I think that the best breakout traders, the people that should be trading a breakout all the time if they want, are the ones that can put a tight stop. Yep. And realize that they're just taking a gamble, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I think if you put that in your head, in your mindset, when you're gonna take trades like that, if you put in your and this is psychological now, you just put that in your head. Listen, I'm gonna put the stop really tight because I really want this to work. But if it doesn't, fine. This is just a gamble I want to take, because if it works out, I'm gonna make some good money. If I don't, I'm not gonna lose a lot.
Yep, exactly. When you play those aggressive breakouts like that, you have to be willing to put that stop loss. And you just have to be willing to put the stop loss, right? So open again. How do you tell that it's almost time for a breakout, guys? When you have a whole bunch of candles failing in a level like that, especially when you start to see the red candles show up, that's an area of a potential breakout, right? So to me, on open, this area, when you have 3 or more candles kind of failing in that spot and then the red candle shows up, that's a potential breakout. So to me, this would have been a beautiful breakout right there, right? This is a no-brainer breakout, right? Why? Because that's a small candle. That's a very small candle. It's breaking out and it's closing above. It's a very small candle. If you jump in there, where does your stop loss go? To this bottom right there. You notice how we're doing that? When we play the breakout, so maybe a little bit of explanation. When we play this breakout, guys, what's the hope here? The hope is that I understand retail. I understand that everybody's gonna get excited, right? When I play the breakout, I want it to go boom skis like now, right? Right? When I play this breakout, I need it to go now, right? It's breaking, it's closing above, I need it to cook now. But if it's not, my stop loss is right below the bottom of the previous candle. Alrighty? So that's the intention with the breakouts, and in this case it did really well, right? So next breakout, right there you can already tell that this is a problem, right? That's a problem when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like as you count the candles, we know this is a problem, right? So I can already put a line right there somewhere. Now as soon as this candle closes above, right there, that's my entry. Where does my stop loss go? Right below that last low, right? And guess what happens? Boom skis, right? You want to do that again, guys? You want to do it again? Let's do it again, right? Because it's fun. You want to do it again? Let's do it again, right? Every time we're stalling like this, and especially when the red candles show up, you know this is an area of a breakout, right? That's an area of a breakout, right? So if you're not sure what the breakouts look like, it's when you have congestion and you're failing, right? And you come back and clear that level. Once it breaks out, I know people are gonna get excited, right? Boom skis. Any questions, guys, about the breakouts and the retest and the stop losses? Any questions?
I do want to say I like this person's comment, Luna. Use the previous lower wick as stop loss. Be systematic and robotic. So don't trade with emotions is what they're trying to say, I guess. And do not guess or you will not take the loss. Interesting.
Definitely would be thinking it's about to come down. That's not the idea though, right? So Jill is saying with all those wicks, I would definitely be thinking it's about to come back down. The idea is not to think, right? The idea is not to think. And I agree with you, right? With all these wicks, I would be thinking we come down, but that's what's happening, right? Let's go back down, right? Same thing over here. Like with all those wicks, you want it to come down, because if it does come down, you can get a better entry. But if it doesn't, and it actually shows you that it's breaking out, that's a good thing, Jill, right? So we're not thinking too much. We're letting the chart prove itself to us, right? This like I said on stream earlier today, like or yesterday, like what's the analogy? Somebody help me. I think Winterfell was on stream. I can't remember the analogy I used, right? But when you're playing these stocks, you have to rely on price action, not what you're thinking, right? Like, again, when you see wicks, yeah, you know it's going to come down, but what if it doesn't and it's actually closing above? Boom skis, right? Same thing right here. Like, that's where you look for the breakouts, right? Right there, we can tell there's a problem right there, and it's breaking. If it breaks and closes above that level, that's your breakout. Boom skis, right? It's stalling again. So now this is your new breakout level, right? This area, that's a new breakout spot, right? So now if the stock isn't breaking out, that's cool. Fine, whatever, right? Fine, whatever. Don't break out. 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 We're going to keep waiting, right? But we know this level is important. This is the next time we're going to go boom skis if we break above that spot, right? Don't break out. 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 Right there, that's your boom skis, right? This one, so right there, this is the breakout. That's the breakout candle. Your stop loss is supposed to go to the bottom of the previous candle, right? This stop loss never hit. Right there, it never hit. And what happens after that? Boom skis, right? So, like, you're waiting, like, in this case, like, look at that. You waited like an hour maybe. But when it finally broke out, you got in on the first candle, right? And you put a stop loss where it's supposed to be. Not a 6%, not a this, not a that. It's price action. It dipped a little bit, but it never touched a stop loss. And then boom skis. Boom skis, Tony. Yeah. Does that does that are we good with that, guys? Good? Or do we need to focus on that? Yeah, JCN, you feel better? Everybody feel better about playing the breakouts and the retest? Yeah? Okay, good. Jody, are you good? Only if it's a momentum stock, Luna. Good? Perfect. Okay, let me take a look at a different stock then, right? So that's open, right? Kind of the same idea. Let's look at what else? Let's look at somebody give me something else. What else? Like if you struggled with something today and you're like, dang it, I didn't know what I was doing. Like, what happened here, right? RPM or MRM. PRM. Okay, I'm gonna look at MODV. Right, obviously, like, look at this, crashing, right? Crashing now, but this obviously isn't when you're referring to it, so it's earlier today, right? Let's go back to like way earlier on. Cool. Let's go back all the way down, and the problem with some of this too, guys, is like some of you guys get too excited when you get the bot, when you see the bot go off, right? Because what happens is the bot is gonna start spamming it right there, right? It's gonna start spamming right there, and you're gonna be like, do I jump in now? Do I jump in now? Do I jump in now? No, right? Right here, you can kind of tell that this is the problem. Like this area is a bit of an issue, right? So this whole area here is a bit of an issue, right? This is gonna have to be a breakout spot at some point. Another thing you have to keep in mind is if you're getting a whole bunch of wicks to like 94 cents, 95 cents, we know that for the most part that issue is gonna be closer to $1. Right, so let me just put a line somewhere here, right? Because we have a lot of resistance here, right? So I'm gonna put a line somewhere there. Alrighty, so I'm gonna put like resistance right there, right? So again, unless we're actually breaking above that level, we're gonna stay away from it. Okay, so we're gonna wait. I mean, there's a breakout down there, but we don't really care for that, right? We'll ignore this for now. But this would have been a good breakout, right? This would have been a good breakout and then to that new high. But let's ignore that. Right? So we're waiting. You can see those wicks, right, on the right-hand side. Waiting. Ooh, there it is, right? You see that first candle right there? That's your breakout, right? And then as soon as we do that, that's when look at this, guys. Look at that, right? But you notice how, like, people are always scared, right? Retail is scared, right? We're all scared. Nobody wants to make the first move, right? But right there, everybody's going to be forced to make a move right there, right? So this is what I mean by when I say, like, okay, you know, people get excited or they're being forced to make a move, is because this is the point where people lose control, right? Like everybody's okay and then we lose control right there, and then it's all FOMO. So you just have to know when to FOMO right there, right? We had this resistance on the left hand side, right? This is a lot of patience, right? Boom, skis right there, right? I mean, if you were looking for better entry though, there was a better entry at the bottom, right? We're consolidating.
You know what?
200
Pause it.
Right?
Yep.
So just seeing that as well, another way I would even explain that is once that, like, the candle that he's staying to take, if you look at it,
Over
it
here.
passes that level. It literally touches that level. The candle, like, pair for the breakout, obviously, right? You see that the start of that yellow candle starts right where that, like, essentially the very tip of that candle all the way back to where the T1 is. I'm assuming that this is probably the indicator, obviously, but as you can see, like right there. You know what? Does that make sense? It's starting from the tipping point of all the way to the left as to where he has
Yeah.
the arrow. Yeah, right there. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's tapped this level a couple times, came back to that resistance level, and then that's just where it's like the race has started. Like it completely took off there right at, from the orange candle.
Yeah, and this is I
It's
think
just what I see.
I think the orange candle he uses. I don't know if that's like with all of them, but like with I don't know how he gets that orange candle. Maybe it's this default, or have you seen an orange candle before, or I don't know, because that's usually where the large
Uh,
volume is coming from on the orange candle.
yeah, he probably has, like, even looking back to it, there is another one. So there's probably it's probably the indicator that they've made.
The algo.
I have seen that before, yeah, for the algorithm. Yeah, I have seen it before. I just can't remember exactly how to do it. There's just a setting on TradingView you can do for that.
Yeah, because that's interesting, because then you can see the volume spike like that. But yeah, like definitely, yeah, definitely it goes back to that level from the left, and that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I'm just like just mentally to remind myself that, and if anybody like it's just another way to see. The more that you can see something in different ways, the better, like more confirmation bias that you'll have and more confidence. Because this is like, oh, we can look at the chart and be like, oh yeah, well this is hindsight's always 2020, right?
Uh,
But in the day when that's actually happening, you want to be essentially looking for that candle to start from the level back at the T1
100%,
if
and
you don't have the indicator, right? You just want to
100%.
be able to see that with your eyes.
You want to look to the left. You don't want to look to the right. Like everyone's probably looking over here when they should be looking over here to the left. That gives you the yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I like that.
But if we're talking about just breakouts today, then we can talk about the bottom next class, right? Looking for the dip skis, that was a breakout right there. And then boom skis, right? And then if you're looking for a brand new breakout, well, this seems to be the new breakout spot, right? $1.20, right? Did we ever break above $1.20? We did actually, right? And then it popped to $1.30. So we don't quite know how much we're gonna get. Actually, it popped a lot higher to $1.40, right? But this is a bit of a scary candle though, isn't it? Right? That's an aggressive candle. But again, if you're playing the breakout, maybe you want to play with that. I don't know. Right? Good. Hi, Jill.
Hey,
Hi.
go back to that chart.
Okay.
Hey, look, no, go back to the top.
Like
Above.
above? Okay. Right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now go to the flip it.
I miss that, Jill. I don't know if it's my connection or yours.
Go to the right. Push over a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. Stop. Okay. So you see this dip right here?
Yep.
See how much it was up already?
Yep.
Like it was already up like a lot.
Yep.
And then it's like this. I
Mhm.
would have really it's not gonna go higher. But it did.
Yes. Right? And so I think for you, Jill, you just have to get to a point where like I think what you need to do, Jill, is maybe this weekend, like just like really focus on looking at these trades that seem to be going higher than you think they're supposed to go, and see what they have in common. Right? Like what are these stocks doing that's pushing them higher, right? CHAR, MODV, like what are they doing that's pushing them higher? That's what you need to study, and then you need to not, I think like which is fair. Like when you lose money in the market, you're gonna overthink. I think that's what you're doing, right? You're overthinking that. Okay, it's up so much already; it shouldn't be going any higher, right? But it does go higher.
Yeah. And it was a pretty big dip too.
Yep.
I would
Exactly.
have been like,
Exactly.
I would have
Right.
been leery of that huge dip.
Yeah. Right. So again, like the dip isn't the problem here, though, Jill. Right. So that's your resistance. Like forget about the dip. We'll talk about the dip next time, but focus on the breakout, the fact that it's actually breaking out, right? Let it prove itself to you, right? So don't worry about the dip. Don't worry about anything that's happening before. Focus on the breakout.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Alrighty. Yeah. On that breakout right there, in this case, like that's an aggressive breakout. These are the ones I don't like a whole bunch because they're way too aggressive. But if you wanted to play with this, you'd have to FOMO on a breakout above $1.20. Right? It's breaking and it's closing above $1.20. You almost have to take a chance there and put a stop loss somewhere right below. Or make sure the one thing that we haven't talked about, we'll talk about it next time, maybe. But again, if you're gonna jump into something that aggressive, pick a stop loss, right? 5 cents back down or something. Velvet. Alrighty. Stop market. No matter how brutal that candle will sell at the first opportunity, often near the bottom. Yep. You're welcome, Velvet. Absolutely. MNTS wasn't today though. It wasn't a momentum stock today. Andrew, I want it to be something that actually has momentum, right? Otherwise, we're just looking at other stuff. Yeah. If you can give me a specific data, and then I'll take a look. Yeah. MRM. Let's take a look. MRM. I know this one ran tonight. So let's go.
Look at that
here.
one. Jeez.
Yeah, this one was basically just a vibe push, right? Just pure momentum. Which this might actually be a good example. You notice how we already have the lines on this one is probably because we've looked at the stock in the past, right? So we already have the breakout spot, right? You notice how this white line is already right there, which obviously we never broke, right? Like we never broke it. So there's no breakouts here on this one, on MRM, right? So the way you want to play something like this, guys, the way you're gonna play something like this is, so I think my connection's still good, right? We're still good. Yeah. So the way you play something like this is, if you're looking at something like this and you're like, dang it, like it's not giving me that stalling area, or this is one of those names where you're like, dang, I think I want to FOMO. It looks really good. What you want to pay attention to is the higher lows, right? And the break of the previous high candle. So like right there, you can do it candle by candle, right? So you can always do that. So let's say you're watching something, right? So let's look at like the aggressive pop actually, because that's going to be a better spot for you, right? So let's say you're watching this stock, right? And it's clearly gaining a lot of momentum, right? It's going off the alert, the bot, right? The bot's going crazy. What you're going to look for is like the high of that candle, or the closing high of that candle.
I'm just pausing it really quickly because he's mentioning the bot, so that's tying in with the trending trade. We have the same bot, Hot Trades and I. So when it comes to trading with that alert that you get in the voice chat, yeah, I'll just rewind it a couple seconds here, but just so you know what he's saying. But he's referring to the bot that I'm using in the server, so just be careful not to just FOMO into it when the bot tells you that there's a large momentum, but look at the charts.
Candle. So like right there, you can do it candle by candle, right? So you can always do that. So let's say you're watching something, right? So let's look at like the aggressive pop actually, because that's going to be a better spot for you, right? So let's say you're watching this stock, right? And it's clearly gaining a lot of momentum, right? It's going off the alert, the bot, right? The bot's going crazy. What you're going to look for is like the high of that candle, or the closing high of that candle. This is a Heikin-Ashi candle, so that's going to be a little bit deceiving. I think the problem with this one is like having a psychological level like a 220, right? So now when we break above that resistance level, you can always just FOMO into that resistance. If you do that, you also have to put a stop loss at the bottom of that candle. Alrighty, so again, you can almost judge a candle by candle, right? Like if a stock is trending up like this and you FOMO on the way up, you have to either put a stop loss like right there or the bottom of the previous candle. Alrighty, so as we're trending up, you're moving your stop loss really tight, right? Mental stop loss, of course. right? So as we're pushing up, your stop loss has to go to the bottom of the previous candle, right? As we push up, previous bottom. Alrighty? As we push up, previous bottom. Cool? As we push up, previous bottom. So you're being really aggressive, like you're being very aggressive, but that's a good thing, right? Because again, so as we push up, previous bottom. As we push up, previous bottom. As we push up, previous bottom. So you're not giving this candle breathing room. Like you're not giving it breathing room at all. No breathing room, right? You're riding it. No breathing room, no room to escape. As we push up, previous bottom. As we push up, stop loss, previous bottom. As we push up, previous bottom. As we push up, previous bottom. As we push up, previous bottom. And then your stop loss would hit somewhere right there. Your stop loss would most likely hit somewhere here. That's your stop loss. It would be gone. But by the time your stop loss hit, guess what? The stock was dead anyways. Right? It's dead. Right? Does that make sense? Can I see your on my breakout line? Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. Push up, previous bottom. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, okay, good, right? So again, this is a different example. This is a complete different type of example, right? Like it's way too aggressive. There's no breakouts, there's no dips. But if you ever get excited about something like this, that's fine. You just have to be aggressive with the stop loss. Right? Like this is aggressive. Like there's no dips, nothing at all. That's fine for you to FOMO. You just have to make sure that it doesn't create a brand new low on any of these candles. And if it doesn't do that, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. As soon as it does that, you want to be out of there. Out of there. Right? You don't want to stay in that position at all. Alrighty? As we push up, previous bottom, Shima. It just keeps going. I know, right, JP? It's like that, though. You know, it's like that, and it's one of those things where, like, you just have to keep doing the right thing, and when it doesn't work, it just doesn't work. Right? Sounds like a gym exercise. Velvet, it's Friday. Don't get too hyped. Yeah, so if you want to paper trade over the weekend, guys, so if you've learned anything and you're like, oh, you know what, I want to paper trade some of this, right? Pull up BTC, select the Coinbase version, and practice. Right? Practice some of these things. If Bitcoin would stop crashing, you know, Bitcoin is a bit aggressive with like all
Little
of this
jab
stuff.
jab to you, Anon.
So
Legit,
bit
it's funny
aggressive.
is that I was looking at the chart and I was like,
Yeah.
this sucks.
But yeah, you can practice with BTC if you need to.
Yeah, practice with BTC, he says, yeah. It's crashing. No. It's a correction.
Any last questions before we hop off, guys? Any last questions? Let me know.
Somebody in this video
Yeah,
has
paper
their
trade over the
vacuum cleaner
weekend.
going.
Right? So and again, like I said, so let me see if I can pull up one more thing here. ELAP was a good one this morning, right? ELAP was good. Let me let's look at ELAP like early on, right? Yeah, ELAP was good. You have multiple breakouts there, right? You have a breakout right there for ELAP, right? This was the first real breakout right there. That was the first real breakout, right? And then you had a bit of more like congestion right there, and then this candle is obviously aggressive, right? But that was technically another breakout, right? And then you had a whole bunch more until we and then you want to be careful with the breakouts, guys. Like if you have a breakout, again, this candle is quite aggressive. If you have a breakout that's pushing into the supply zone, just be careful, please. Right? Like breakouts into supply zones, the red zone, I don't know if you want to be playing with that. You're welcome, T. Thank you, JP. You're not even kidding, Winterfell. ELAPS was sustained purely by hot trades. As soon as we stopped, it went to the abyss. Like, no kidding. No kidding. We pumped that thing. And as soon as we left and went to something else, it crashed. Ah. Seriously, seriously. I don't mind, I don't mind. Yep. I don't mind. As soon as we left that thing, it went to the abyss. Yeah.
All right, I think that basically covers everything. I think he's just gonna go to a Q&A after that, but yeah, I hope you guys learned something from that. I know I can take a lot of information from that too. We're always learning together. Well, we're always learning. You can never stop learning. Anyways, I really appreciate all you guys taking the time to come out and do this event with me. I'll probably do another learning session, just so we can kind of learn some other methods, I guess you want to say. But yeah, no. If you guys have any questions or want to say anything, let me know. I don't think yeah, no. Mike, did you want to say anything about that, or Native?
No.
Did you have any questions about it, or
No, I don't have any questions.
anything that
Yeah.
you can take away from it?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay,
It's a good video though.
Good video, really good video, honestly, yeah. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you guys for coming in. I hope that next time we have some more people. We had a bunch of people that were showing interest into the seminar thing, but a few of them weren't able to make it, unfortunately. But the next one, I'll just record this and I'll upload it on YouTube. So if you guys want to watch it later again, you can watch it on YouTube, Circuit Gamer TV. And yeah, that'll be it for now. Thank you
Sounds
guys for joining.
Sounds good, man. Hope everybody
for,
enjoys their
streaming.
Labor Day tomorrow, and yeah, appreciate it.
Have a good weekend, guys. Enjoy your Labor Day tomorrow for sure. And then before you guys go, I do want to say one thing. Paper trading. If you guys are able to paper trade over the weekend or do anything like that, I do recommend trying to practice this. I'm going to probably do what he said, is just practice it on BTC and see how that goes, like just on paper trades. So
I've already started. I've already been looking. I'm like, in my thought process as well, just if I can add in too, is like, I'm like, okay, well, if he's already started, like, you can apply this to crypto. So if any of you guys are into that as well, then I think that the method would be essentially is Axiom then, and then maybe looking at pump.fun for whatever's like trending as in higher volume. Don't quote me on it, obviously. I'm gonna take a look at it and then see if I could like figure out the method like that. But yeah.
yeah, I'd like to hear if it works for you as well, and keep me posted on that. I mean, yeah, so far what I've learned from Blaze has been a lot of good information, so trying to apply it as best as I can.
What I'm curious though is for the stocks, what was the method of looking at what's trending for the day or upcoming? What's the way that you guys look?
Oh, so I don't have anything crypto on my server right now at this moment, but go to I can go to a site here that I can share. I know of one. Oops. Let me just go
Not for crypto, just for stocks.
Oh, for stocks.
Yeah.
So, what's your question again? Sorry.
Like to be able to see what is top movers essentially
Oh,
for
I
the
see.
day.
Yeah, I got you. Okay. So for top gainers,
Yeah.
you're going to want to go to top gainers and Trend Vision
Top
stocks.
gainers.
That's going to give you the top gainers for the day. And then you're going to look at the first 1 to 4. Pick one, maybe 1, 2, 3, however many, and just go through those for the day on the news, and then make your technical analysis from there.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, top gainers. And then if you have any questions, like on how to use the bot or what these things mean, go to help just above top gainers, and you can just go to that link there, and it'll tell you like how the scanner
Oh, you're
works.
telling me this is in the channel? This is in the Discord?
Yeah.
Yep, it's in the Discord. So just above top gainers, in the Trend Vision stocks.
I don't think that I have access. I don't know if I have access to
You
all
should.
this.
Do you see it, Mike?
Am I going crazy?
It should
What,
be trading tips, Trend Vision stocks category, then trading tips, setup, help. Oh, you wouldn't see setup. You'd see trading tips and help, and then top gainers.
Oh, is it okay? So welcome to Trend Vision
Trend Vision
and then
stocks.
Screener.
You only see
I don't know
screener?
why. All I have, yeah, I only see Screener. That's why.
hold on a second. I'm just gonna quickly end the
And then I
video
see
that I'm
choose
recording
as
here,
she.
and then
Oh
I'll
yeah.
1 second here. All right, guys, 1 second.